It is a beautiful Friday night for football here in Fitchburg, but we are not at Crocker Field. It is Falcon football tonight on FATV. I'm John Gugerty, joined by Dan Bolak. And Dan, the Falcons have won their last 2 games in a row, but tonight they face their toughest test of the season.
Absolutely, John. Framingham State University comes to this game with a 4-0 record, 2-0 in the MASCAC. They're the last unbeaten team in the MASCAC. They're coming off a bye week, but the week before that, they took down the Buccaneers of Mass Maritime by a score of 50-7. They combined for over 260 yards on the ground and 4 touchdowns, over 6 yards a carry. Karan Wright's going to be the man to watch. He averages 6 yards a carry for the Rams.
A 50-7 victory against Mass Maritime. The Falcons, in their last contest, they beat that same Mass Maritime squad by a score of 24-17. Before we go any further into this one, we want to bring in Amanda Agassi, and Amanda is standing by at field level with a very special guest.
Thanks, guys. And let me first start by saying the energy out here during the warm-ups was through the roof from both Fitchburg and Framingham State. And I am joined by a very special guest. He was on the Fitchburg State football team last season. He had a season high of 83 tackles. Mamu Sam, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me here.
So let's just jump right into it. You were part of the Fitchburg State team that went to the bowl game 2 years ago. You were part of that strong defense that was ranked top 10 in the country back-to-back seasons. Fast forward to today, to this season. Talk to me about the strengths and weaknesses in the Fitchburg State defense.
Well, I'll say one of the strengths of the team is that they have a lot of veterans coming back for the offensive side, and they have a offensive captain, Devin Samil. That's been a great leader for the offense, and they also have a new defensive coordinator, so they have a little mix-up of getting turnovers. And I'll say the weaknesses, they have a little young defense, but, they're starting, they're young, so just give them some time.
And also, another key player that we were talking about off camera was Kyrick Watford, who had an amazing game 2 weeks ago here versus Bridgewater. He had an 83-yard fumble recovery, ran it back for a touchdown. Talk to me about that, just the leadership coming from Kyrick Watford.
Just being a 3-year starter, having the experience right there, and then just shows you that he's one of the strongest captains on the team, and building up this young defense and making them compete and go out every week and try to, get the defense to be the same as it was last year and the years before to come.
Great. And now, quickly, before the game gets started, talk to me about 3 key points going into this game that the Falcons need to remember.
All right, 3 key points. The Falcons need to be prepared. They need to know assignment, alignment, and they need to know communication has to be clear. The passing game needs to get going great and quick. It needs to get started. The defense need to make sure that they hold and the special team all together, and maybe they can get this win tonight.
All right, one last thing, Mamu, who you got tonight? Who you got?
I don't know, man.
Fitchburg or Framingham?
Maybe stick with my boys.
I think it's Fitchburg
boys.
State. All right, guys, thank you so much. Back up to you.
Thank you very much, Amanda, and we want to thank Mamu Sam for joining us before the game. And Dan, Mamu's made a lot of really good points about the defense, but for the Falcons, there are 2 sides of the football, and their success on offense this season starts with the quarterback.
Absolutely. Nelson Valerio, 64% completion percentage. He's thrown for over 1,000 yards this year, 9 yards per attempt. 11 touchdowns already on the season for Valerio. Stepping into the quarterback role after he was hurt last year. Didn't get a chance to battle for the job after Garrett Delikiai's injury, but this year he's come back. He's been strong, and he's helped lead this Falcon offense. And I think one of the key points, too, in bringing up Nelson Valerio is that Framingham's rush defense is the best in the conference, but their pass defense is the second worst. The Falcons could exploit that. If they can get their passing game going against Framingham, that might be the weakness they can exploit.
Framingham has allowed the fewest points of any team in the MASCAC this season, but Fitchburg State does come in with a potent offense, 4th in the conference in scoring. It could be a high-scoring affair here tonight at Elliott Field.
Absolutely. Think of it this way. Last week, the Falcons scored 24 against Mass Maritime. That was their worst offensive performance of the season. And they played very well defensively in that game as well. They held Mass Maritime quarterback Chris Haggerty to 11 for 30, 111 yards, and they picked him off 4 times.
If this is your first time watching football, that's not good. The defense did a good job forcing him to that stat line.
Absolutely.
Captains are meeting at midfield for the coin toss. As they do, we want to remind you that this game, as with all games here on FATV, is available online. If you happen to know someone in Framingham or indeed anywhere around this great world of ours, they can go to fatv.org, and live streaming is available right there. We're also on Facebook and YouTube. Just search for Fitchburg Access Television. It'll come right up. So Framingham State will receive to start the first half. The Falcons will have the ball to start the third quarter. Usually the preference that you would choose.
Usually the case. It's interesting to choose. It's interesting the Rams chose to take the ball from the get-go.
Well, they do have the highest scoring offense in the MASCAC, so maybe they want to set the tone early.
Sounds like an idea for Tom Kelly and his team.
We'll step aside for the national anthem and be back right in just a moment. It's Friday Night Football, Fitchburg State University, right here on FATV.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, would you please rise as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem.
Fitchburg State University football live on FATV. I'm John Gugerty, joined by Dan Bolak. And Dan, let's take a look once again at the Framingham State Rams.
Yes, let's look at the Rams. Their lead quarterback is Zach Walker. He's a senior from Ayer, Massachusetts, not too far away from here. He's got a 69% completion percentage, but based on what I've seen, I guess, thus far this year for Framingham State, he seems to be a quarterback who focuses on short passes. So we mentioned this Framingham State team, they get it done on the ground. 267.3 yards per game, best in the conference, compared to their passing offense, only 153.5 yards per game. That's 8th in the conference.
Fitchburg State will kick from the left to the right. They are in the all green tonight, a very attractive getup. Green jerseys, green pants. Framingham State, as you can see, is in the white, trimmed with black and yellow. And kicking away for the Falcons will be Zach Bingham. Kick is away, taken in at about the 10-yard line. Cuts it up near side. And brought down at about the 33-yard line is number 23 for Framingham State. That's Nasir Thomas.
Zach Bingham has struggled a little bit with the leg at the beginning of this season, but it seems like as the season has gone on, his leg strength has increased a little bit. But still, it is a bit of a challenge for the Falcons in the case that the Rams get to start with the ball at the 33-yard line. The offenses are starting a little farther downfield than you would like.
Zach Walker is the quarterback for Framingham State. He starts out in the shotgun. 2 receivers far side, 1 to the near. Motion man to the near side, fake the handoff to him, and that's Sebastian Robert, the ball carrier. He's across the 40, marking down at the 41 after a gain of about 7.
Sebastian Robert is 3rd on the team in carries this year, but 2nd in yards, averages 5.5 yards per game. Interesting to see him getting the first snap of the contest, but you can see finds a bit of a hole through the right side, sweeps through. and down at the 41. So about 7-8 yard gain to start.
That run featured one of the least convincing play fakes I've ever seen. Ball was about 3 yards away from the man who might have been carrying it. Motion to the near side comes Napoleon Miller for Framingham State. They'll throw on second down. Long pass down the field is overthrown and incomplete. Well defended for Fitchburg State. That's David Desemy on the coverage.
We saw a couple weeks ago David Desemy doing very well to match up with Bridgewater's Jack Levanchi. And it looks like he might be the one targeting the lead receivers for the Rams. In that case, it was Mike Colicchio who was the intended target, and that ball was overthrown.
Now 3rd down and 3 for Framingham State. They go without a conventional huddle. Quarterback Walker just calling signals at the line. Robert remains in the backfield as the running back. And he will get the carry to the right side. My apologies, that's actually Stephen Bean, the ball carrier. And Bean has a first down. There's a flag on the play.
Stephen Bean, by definition, is a wide receiver. That was only his 5th carry of the season, assuming this penalty doesn't wipe out the play.
Interesting. Man's number is 24, but he's listed as a wide receiver. College football, ladies and gentlemen.
Personal foul on the defense, number 25, faded out of bounds. 15 yards from the end of the run.
So a personal foul against the Falcons, tack another 15 yards onto that one, and the Rams will be in Falcon territory for the first time tonight.
That's also been a bit of a challenge for the Falcons in terms of penalties this year. On average, 82 penalty yards a game. That's 3rd worst in the conference.
1st and 10 for the Rams at the Falcon 41-yard line. Walker calling signals. He has Bean to his right. Back to pass. Walker's under a lot of pressure. Rolls to his left. He's going to keep it himself. And he just tumbles out of bounds after a gain of a couple of yards.
Even when you factor in all the sacks that Walker will have taken this season, he still averaged about 4 yards a carry. So he is a fairly mobile quarterback, which helps Framingham out as well. In this case, can't really find a receiver, looking for somewhere to go.
He doesn't even have a chance to find a receiver. He's pressured immediately.
Jerry Rosario with the pressure there. And then all he can do is just run, get as much as he can.
But to your point, Dan, Walker is a capable runner. He was able to evade Rosario and pick up a few yards. Now on second down, Bean is the ball carrier, and he's across the 35. Actually, they're going to spot him right there. It's a gain of a couple. It'll bring up 3rd down and 4.
Stephen Bean, a senior from Spencer. That's in Worcester County, all on the southern portion of it. And once again, I do find it a bit interesting that it seems like they're avoiding using Karan right now. That's the one we're expecting to see, and it's not who we're seeing right now.
Take a look at this one again. Bean just plunges right into the line.
3rd and 4 it is, by the way, not 3rd and 35 that you see on your screen.
Handoff goes to Bean out of the pistol formation. Not much going there. Might be a yard. It'll be 4th down and 3, and an interesting call right out of the gate for Framingham State coach Tom Kelly. Do you go for it here on 4th down and 3 from the Falcon 34?
Well, if you want to play the numbers, Framingham has converted 60% of their 4th downs this year. The Falcons have stopped 30% of 4th down opportunities.
Framingham State is going to go for it, and I absolutely agree with this call. You're in, it feels like we're saying it earlier and earlier, you're in that maroon zone just inside the 35-yard line, too close to punt. You're not going to kick a field goal. You might as well go for it. They'll go from the pistol once again. Handoff to Bean running to the right, and he is stuffed. Jerry Rosario made the initial hit, and then it's Malik Crowford finishing it off. The Falcon defense gets a stop. They will take over on downs.
You can only run that play so many times before the Falcons catch on to it. And Rosario and Crowford are right on it. Another run to the right side, again from the converted receiver. And Rosario able to wrap up Bean just enough. And Crowford comes in with the finish. Turnover on downs.
Deron Hines had no chance at all of stopping Jerry Rosario, and Rosario blew that play up before it even got started. Falcon offense will take over now. Good field position for them. 1st and 10 at their own 39-yard line. Valerio, play action fake. He'll keep it himself. Throws to the right. Pass is incomplete. A little bit of contact, but they're not going to throw a flag on Jaquan Harris. That was just good defense by the senior D-back out of Quincy.
2nd and 10.
indeed. It was a throw to the right side. Acosta looked like it was a bit out of his reach. We've mentioned before, Acosta 5 feet 4 inches tall. He is the shortest player on this team. We see on the replay looking to his right, and he throws it. It's overthrown there. And as you mentioned, Jaquan Harris with strong defense there.
Second down and 10 now for the Falcons.
Still, I was going to say, I still think, though, the Falcons should try to go pass heavy if they can, since it seems to be, at least on paper, what Framingham's weakness is thus far this year.
Devin Samil goes in motion to the far side. Javon Brown-Simpson will get the carry here on second down. Breaks out of the initial hit, but it then is brought down after a gain of just a couple of yards.
Gain of 3.
And one thing I think we need to watch for this Framingham State defense, they are the top-ranked rushing defense in the conference. I don't know how much of that is just that they've had often big leads late in games. I mean, if you're leading by 10, 20, even 30 points at times, your opponent isn't going to run the ball that much. It'll be interesting to see if the Falcons can get a solid ground game going.
That is a good point to mention. After all, the Rams' 4 opponents have a combined 5 wins on the season coming into this week.
Third down and 7 now for the Falcons. Valerio back to pass. He'll throw long over the middle. Pass is intercepted, picked off by Jaquan Harris, and he will take the ball back into Falcon territory before being brought down. That pass was overthrown again. Jaquan Harris was right there, and he gets a good return. So the Rams take over with excellent field position after the turnover. Take a look at this one again.
That is the 4th interception for Harris this season, and that ball looked like it was pretty badly overthrown. I think he was looking for Lastra on that throw over the middle, and he's out of the shot is how far off that is. I think from what I saw, I mean, it even looked like Harris had the best shot of all of catching that ball. Didn't need to put too much effort into intercepting it. Big stop for the Rams. They're back in Falcon territory.
Framingham State now 1st and 10 at the Falcon 46. Karan Wright's first carry of the game is a big one. He plunges forward and is across the 35-yard line. Give him 12 yards and a first down.
So there he is. There's the man of the hour we were expecting. The junior from Worcester, 5 feet 6 inches tall. He sat out the first series, but he makes his presence known right on the first go.
Great blocking by the Ram offensive line, and then good running by Wright as he was able to pick up 12 yards and a first down. Falcons now at the, Rams now at the Falcon 35, excuse me. And Wright will get the carry again. Another big hole. Karan Wright is into the secondary. Give him another first down.
To create that hole right on the offensive line is big for Framingham State, and Karan Wright runs with explosive power. Look how quickly he gets through this hole. There's nothing in his way at that moment. Rosario tries to make the tackle there. Eventually, they're able to cover up for it, but still.
And now Wright gets the carry again, and again he slashes through the hole, and again he plunges forward, and again he has a first down.
As we said, 6 yards per carry coming in, 144 a game on average.
Karan Wright has 3 carries and something like 40 yards already.
Seems like it. Incredible display from the junior.
Just straight up the middle. There is good blocking in front of him, but that is also excellent running by Karan Wright. Now 1st and goal for the Rams. Karan Wright, the ball carry. He cuts it to the left side. This is too easy. 4 plays, 46 yards, touchdown Rams. What in God's name are the Falcons going to do about this, Danny?
Well, that's going to be the challenge. That's what they knew was going to be the challenge coming into today, was trying to find a way to stop Karan Wright. And this is just some incredible running and some incredible blocking by the Rams O-line as well. That was the shortest run, I think, but only because he only had to get 6 yards.
He only had so much field to go. At a certain point, you cross that final line and they say, okay, no more running for you. Here's 6 points, go away.
Ryan Clifford is 12 for 16 in extra points this year. So not the most accurate in the world.
But that one is no good.
Well, there you go.
Looked like it went through, but we do not have a straight angle. Wide to the right. So Fitchburg State catches a little bit of a break after the Karan Wright and the offensive line show. Framingham State just marches down the field. 4 plays, 46 yards. All of them handoffs to Karan Wright. And it is 6-0 Rams with just under 10 minutes to play here in the first quarter.
It's all they needed to do is just give it to Karan Wright. The first drive, they decided to give it to everyone but him. And they looked mortal, they looked human. They give it to Karan Wright on this drive, they put him in, and that's all they needed to do.
So, Danny, while we have a second here, why don't we check in on other D3 action, starting with other games in the MASCAC taking place tonight?
About that.
Oh, there aren't any. What about any other D3 games happening anywhere in the country?
About that.
There are none, is what you're telling me.
That is correct. This is the only Division III football game tonight.
So if you know anyone who is a fan of any Division III football and they want to watch it tonight, they're watching us. That's what you're telling us.
That is correct.
No pressure.
The eyes of D3 are upon us.
High end over end kick, taken in at about the 2-yard line for the Falcons, and then brought down immediately. Justin Jean Charles just couldn't get anything going.
It's a great kickoff there from Clifford, who is averaging about 60 yards a kickoff. So he's got the leg to put it within the 5-yard line. So you've got to carry it out, obviously. You don't even get the option of trying to kneel it down and taking it at the 25. You've got to run it out in great coverage by the Rams, stopping Justin Jean Charles after only 15 yards.
So the Falcon offense went 3 plays and a pick. Then they saw Framingham State march downfield with ease. Now they get the ball 1st and 10 at their own 18. Play action fake, kind of a busted play, and Valerio just dives forward. Not a good start for the Falcon offense. It'll be 2nd down and about 10.
That's one of those instances where not everyone was on the same page in terms of the playbook, because it looked like Valerio was trying to hand off to the wrong side.
Yeah, Valerio turned to his left, and Javon Brown-Simpson ran to the right, and then Valerio just had to keep the ball himself.
Yeah, not much of a play action when you're trying to fake the handoff, and that happens.
Now 2nd down and 10 for the Falcons. And this time Javon Brown-Simpson gets the carry, and he doesn't get anything out of it. He is brought down immediately by Nathan Fleming.
About a yard at most. This is just a typical running play up the middle. But you can see the Rams linebackers getting in there, and making the immediate wrap up there was number 10 for the Rams. That's Nathan Fleming, 31 tackles on the season, leads the team.
Now 3rd and 9 for the Falcons as they look to at least get some field position back here. They're a little shell-shocked right now. Valerio back to pass, looks to his left. He is under pressure, and he will be sacked. Brought down immediately by a whole pack of Rams. Looked like it was Joshua Onajawego who led the assault for the Rams.
In that case, it was just a matter of Valerio didn't really have any time to do anything with the ball. And that was a challenge the Falcons had a couple weeks ago when they took on Worcester. Valerio never had time to release it. He had to scramble, and that led to him making a lot of forced errors, I guess you could say. And in that case, at least he was smart enough to eat the ball there.
So the Falcon offense, 2 drives, 6 plays, a pick, and now a punt. Well, a flag before the punt. And they're going to be backed up 5 yards, illegal motion. So everything that can go wrong for Fitchburg State has here in the first half of this first quarter of action. Punter will now be set up deep in his own end zone as he kicks this one away. Barely gets that one off, taken in at the Falcon 45. And bringing it back upfield for Framingham State, that is number 23, Nasir Thomas.
Nasir Thomas has a punt return.
And Jason Barrentos, the Falcons punter, averaging about 32 a kick. Asked to do a whole lot there, and that's about as strong as he could put it down there. For Nasir Thomas, a decent run back once again. Framingham's in Fitchburg territory. They've got 37 yards to go.
1st and 10 Rams at the Falcon 37. All of the action really in this first half has been on the left side of the field. The Falcons can't get out of their territory and the Rams can't stay out of it. Karan Wright, the ball carrier, he'll pitch it on the reverse, and bringing it upfield is Khalil Bruce for Framingham State. He loses the football, but Bruce is able to fall on it after a gain of about 8 yards.
It was the first carry of the season for Keneal Bruce.
Keneal Bruce, the senior receiver out of Cambridge, Massachusetts. We take a look at this one again. They had all that success running with Wright on the first possession, so they just toss it back to Bruce here, and he picks up a pretty good gain out of it.
Just trying something different. Nice trying to force the fumble there, but...
Second down and 3, Karan Wright, the ball carrier, and this time he is finally brought down after a gain of about a yard. Kyreek Watford, we talked about him with Mamou Sam in the pregame. He led the assault there.
So run up the middle, and this time the Falcons had it read correctly, and it is Watford the first to get there. He tags up with one of the Bednarses. That would be David.
Now third down and 3 for the Rams at the Falcon 30. Motion to the near side. Walker back to pass to the right, wide open. And diving forward for a first down is Mike Kalikia.
First completed pass for Walker tonight, only his second attempt. And he had Kalikia wide open on the right side. Just trying to stop the run and focus on that. Just left that receiver wide open. And another first for the Rams.
Walker barking signals to his line. Now he steps back into the shotgun. He has Sebastian Robert in the backfield with him as Karan Wright heads to the sidelines for a breather. Walker hands off. Robert plunges forward, gets himself 3 or 4 yards.
Ball came loose after that, but the ball was dead from the get-go on that fumble. So a few yards gained there by Robert. And the Falcons trying to hold the Rams at bay for as long as they can, but Karan Wright's breather is over. He's back in.
Falcon defense was able to stop Framingham State on 4th down on their first possession, but since then the Rams have been pretty much moving the ball at will.
That's what you expect out of, they're not the final boss for nothing.
Second down and 6 for Framingham State. Wright, the ball carrier, big hole for him. Cuts it through to the left side, and he will go in untouched. Touchdown, Framingham State.
Found the hole, took advantage of it. There's not a whole lot else you need to say about that. Karan Wright lighting up the scoreboard for Framingham State.
Take a look at this one again. Wright just takes the ball, runs off tackle to the left, gets a big hole. I mean, Karan Wright is a very talented ball player, and he's a very quick young man. That is all on the Ram offensive line. Great blocking for Framingham State, and Karan Wright has his second touchdown of the first quarter. On to attempt the extra point once again is Ryan Clifford. He missed his first one. High snap, but he gets the kick away. This time it is up and good. So 10 minutes into this one, Framingham State is dominating. It is 13-0 Rams.
Indeed, that is the case, and that's really all you can say right now. The Falcons offense hasn't really been able to get started thus far, and for the Rams offense, it's like once they got Karan Wright in the game, he's been near unstoppable thus far.
So if you're on the far sideline, if you are Coach Patrick Haverty, what are you telling your team right now, Dan? What are you telling them to get them back into this?
Well, at least for the get-go, I mean, 13-0 thus far, but for the get-go, the first thing they can work on is their own O-line, trying to give Nelson Valerio a little more time to find any receivers, to throw the ball, to do what have you. Because that seems to be the main issue in my head, is just the fact he hasn't had time to do much of anything. But of course, Valerio's already thrown a couple balls, both of them overthrown.
You see Gene Charles set back deep to return for the Falcons. Looks like he's joined by, I can't exactly tell who that is on the left there.
I cannot either.
These green jerseys are very nice, except when you can't see the numbers. Fortunately for us, it looks like it, no, it will not. Of course it won't be Gene Charles. Taking it back up the far side and brought down at the 20-yard line. Not much of a return. That is Tamaketi on the return.
I had many guesses Chris Tamaketi was not going to be one of them. Tamaketi having a go on that, and it went about the same, just maybe marginally better than how it went for Gene Charles in the first run back.
Fitchburg 1st and 10 for the row 21.
So the Falcons will be set up on their own 21-yard line after the return. And it's a play action fake. Valerio will keep it himself, looks to get outside. He is tripped up from behind. Great play on defense. That's Sven Jacobson, the senior linebacker out of Cumberland, Maine, who made that play for Framingham State.
Roll out to the right side after a play action fake to Jaquay Solomon, who's now in the game for the Falcons. And able to get a couple of yards out of that one was Valerio. And as we mentioned, Sven Jacobson, he's one of the big guys for the Rams on defense as well. He had a pick 6 2 weeks ago against the Buccaneers of Mass Maritime.
2nd down and 8 for Fitchburg State. They go under center. Play action again. Rolls to the left. Rosario's pass is complete. Devin Samil to catch. Ball pops out as he goes down, but they will correctly, in my estimation, rule that he was down by contact before losing the ball. And that will be the first down of the game for Fitchburg State.
Luckily for the Falcons and Devin Samil, as he puts that ball on the ground, it bounces straight out of bounds. So they're able to keep possession on that. And Samil, surprisingly, was held without a reception last week against Mass Maritime.
And Samil, as we mentioned in our last telecast, is the all-time leading receiver for Fitchburg State, so that was certainly a surprise. Now on first down, play action fake, pass is high, and there is a flag. Falcon receiver Jesse Brown was literally jumping up and down, screaming for a flag, and there is one in the downfield area.
As it looked like, let's see, Valerio had time to throw, he had time to line up what he wanted to do, and the penalties against Fitchburg.
That, I imagine, is not what Jesse Brown was angling for. Ineligible man downfield against the Falcons. So now it's a question of whether the Rams will take the penalty or the incomplete pass, and we will see. So the Rams declined the penalty, and they will take the incomplete pass. 2nd down and 10 coming up for Fitchburg State. And Jesse Brown looked like he wanted a pass interference call on that one.
I mean, it looked like the play went as designed for the most part, and Brown looks like he's still cross with that. He still wants an explanation for why the DPI wasn't given there. They had to pause for a moment because the sticks had marched off the 5 yards. They thought they were going to take the penalty, but not so.
Now on 2nd down, Valerio looks right, throws left, pass is caught. This time Brown has a catch, and this time he has himself a first down.
Again, another play that went as designed, except this time Brown able to get that catch, and you could see him coming back towards the sideline. Very happy with himself and how that play developed.
It's a good catch by Brown, too. Pass is thrown really hard, and Brown had to make reach out and grab it, basically, extend his arms, and he made the catch. 1st and 10 Falcons at their own 44 now as they look to get the ball across midfield for the first time. Handoff to Brown Simpson, and he will be brought down immediately. He ran straight into a Ram. That was Campbell Marchant, the tackle.
And Cody Vlasic also in on that for Framingham. Just look how quickly they give it off to Solomon, and there are, I mean, shortly after he gave it off there, just immediately wrapped up. Framingham sold out on the run on that, and it indeed worked for them.
2nd down and 12 now for Fitchburg State. They're back set now at their own 44. Valerio pumps. He's going to step forward. Looks like he wants to run with this one. Gets a block from Samil, and then he is tripped up in the backfield. And there's a flag down behind the play. Valerio might have gotten back to the line of scrimmage, but we will check the penalty.
I could say at least he did get back to the line of scrimmage based on where they've spotted the ball. And Valerio originally running towards the right. Well, we'll pause for the flag, and we'll see how this all develops.
Defense number 91, hands to the face. 15 yards, the other one, automatic first down.
So a break for the Falcons. They get a 15-yard personal foul penalty, and that will give them a first down in Framingham territory for the first time tonight.
Hands to the face was the call on that one, and let's see if our wonderful camera crew here at FATV caught that.
So it's going to be on the left-hand side of the screen. It's number 91, Onajuwego. I think it might have come right at the snap. As he lifted his right hand up, he kind of caught the face mask of the lineman who was blocking him. And that, I believe, was the cause of the penalty. Now 1st and 10 for the Falcons. Handoff straight up the middle. Breaking out of one tackle and diving forward. It's Jaquay Solomon, the ball carrier, and he picks up a little bit, maybe a yard.
On that play, Solomon started out a little farther back than he had on the previous play to give himself some time in the off chance that they sold out on the run again. And considering that he ran right into the pile, well, that is indeed what Framingham did, but he was able to bounce off the pile, jump to his left side, and in the end turn what could have easily been a 3-yard loss into a 1-yard gain. And the play clock has run out, so either a timeout or delay a game we're going to see.
I don't think that was delay a game. It didn't feel like 40 seconds passed at the end of that.
That could be the other thing, too.
Yeah, they're going to restart the play clock there.
It wasn't at 40 seconds to begin with, so it's neither of those things.
It's a little difficult for us because the clock operator is like 4 inches to my right, so I don't want to be too mean. He's doing a very good job, and he's a very handsome man as well. Just saying that. 2nd down and 9 for the Falcons. Pass to the right is incomplete. He was intending for Jesse Lastra. Pass was thrown more at Lastra's ankles than anything else. Although, to be fair, the ankles were pretty much the only part of Lastra that was open. He was very well covered.
Indeed. Valerio was just trying to get a quick pass off to the right side, and it just so happened that when he got that pass off to the right side, it just so happened there were 2 Rams in the vicinity at that time. They picked the right receiver, and especially with Valerio, when he took the snap, he was looking left the whole way up until he threw to his right, expecting there to be someone open there on the quick slant pass, but Framingham picked the right receiver to cover.
Now 3rd down and 9 for Fitchburg State. Play action fake, Valerio under pressure, and he is sacked. Brought down in the backfield. There's that man again, Joshua Onajuwego. You know, there are Rams, and then there are Rams with a Hemi. Joshua Onajuwego has a Hemi.
That seems to be the case. He just charges straight out there, 550 horsepower. And Valerio doesn't have a ghost of a chance.
No, Onajuwego did not bite on the play fake at all. He just charged straight at the quarterback and brought Valerio down, and the Falcons will have to kick it away.
Sophomore from Wareham with his 4th sack of the year.
End over end kick, ankled toward the sideline. Takes a Falcon roll, but it's going to go all the way into the end zone. Looked for a second like they might be able to pin the Rams deep, but instead it'll be 1st and 10 Framingham State at their own 20.
Just trying to play the bounce, I think, is what Barrentos was trying to do there. The short line drive kick, spiraling end over end, trying to get that favorable bounce, and in the end, the ball bounced just a little too far. But this is the deepest that the Rams will be starting from their own 20-yard line.
So Framingham State's offense takes the field looking to, I mean, it's only the first quarter. You can't necessarily put this one away if you score, but they are certainly looking to make it difficult for Fitchburg State. Handoff goes to Karan right on 1st down. Ducks out of 1 tackle, ducks out of another, ducks out of a 3rd, and then he is finally brought down, and a flag comes in after the play.
They might be getting him with a face mask or something. The flag was thrown on the tackle. And when the flag is thrown in that direction and that manner, to me it comes off as it's something illegal in the tackle, which would probably be a face mask or something like that.
Either a face mask on the tackle, they might be getting Genry Rosario for a late hit as well. He kind of dove in on the pile as Wright was down. I thought it was legal watching it in real time, but I am not a football referee.
And neither am I. But they are discussing it. They want to make sure they get it right.
In the grasses from behind.
Personal foul against the Falcons.
As we expected. So even when you stop Karan Wright, you're not really stopping him.
You have to cheat.
Now the referee talking with Patrick Haverty wants an explanation for this.
Take a look at this one, see if we can spot the foul. So Wright ducks out of 1 tackle. I mean, they might have a block in the back on the Rams if they wanted one, but that's not the call. And then right there,
it's not just that, but it's the
yeah,
helmet-to-helmet contact as well.
That's what they're going to get. And poor Henry Rosario, he bends over backwards like a scorpion, but I think they're going to get him for a helmet-to-helmet hit right on the tackle. Let's get the call.
Personal foul on the defense, number 20, with targeting. Number 20 is qualified.
So Henry Rosario is ejected for targeting on the helmet-to-helmet hit. And taking a look at that replay, I think they have the correct call.
Indeed, that's the case. Helmet-to-helmet, that was clear as day. Coming in late on that, and Rosario will take no further part in this game. And for the Falcons, that's one of their lead players out on defense, and that's not going to make things any easier for them.
You see it right here again on the replay right there. Rosario, I mean, that's a clear case. He lowers his head, he smashes his helmet into Karan Wright's helmet. You cannot do that, and Henry Rosario has been ejected. 1st and 10 Rams on their own 35-yard line after the penalty. Wright plunges forward, gets a couple of yards, and that will be the end of what has been a very one-sided first quarter of action, Dan. You have in the past, and you have once again tonight, referred to the Rams as the final boss of the MASCAC. And if that's the case, I think the Falcons need to grind a little more.
Yep, they've not racked up as many experience points as they would have liked coming into this contest, it seems. Although the Falcons have played some tough teams, in Worcester and Bridgewater, and even Curry, who's 3-1, and they're going to be playing UMass Dartmouth tomorrow. They've played some pretty strong teams, but still, it seems like, but they haven't played an undefeated team for one thing, well, for nearly obvious reasons, and for Framingham State too. Even though we've looked at the numbers coming in, and they've been beating teams that have struggled this year, 3 one-win teams and a 2-win team in Cortland. The thing with Framingham, though, is they've been beating them pretty handedly.
We mentioned Framingham State coming off a 50-7 victory over Mass Maritime. This team is very good. It's a bit of an understatement, but it's worth stating. The Rams are very good, and the Falcons have a tough test ahead of them. They're only down by 2 scores, but it is an uphill battle as we start the second quarter of action.
And part of that challenge is going to be trying to stop Karan Wright, and without cheating, too.
And without cheating. No grabbing his face mask, no slamming your head into his head. You have to just tackle him, preferably before he runs for 100 feet or so.
That would be the case. Will Cowdery's going to be in the backfield for the Rams as we start this second quarter.
And as we do so, we turn the play-by-play action over to Danny Volak.
Thank you very much, John, and we have whistles before we even start. And now, we get the play clock running. Looks like we're all ready to go. Second quarter. Rams with 4 receivers as we see Kalakio hitting into view. Walker's going to throw to the 1 receiver on the left side. And did he stay in bounds? They're going to look at it, and they say he did actually have a foot in bounds. That's Keneal Bruce, who was able to make the catch with just enough room to spare on the left side. A first down coming for the Rams.
We saw Bruce as a ball carrier earlier. Now we see him, and we take a look at this one again. He makes a very good catch. Bruce was one of 2 Rams who actually took a knee during the national anthem before the game. We haven't seen anyone do that yet at Elliott Field, and I wondered if we would. I'm just going to say good on Framingham State for allowing their players to do that.
I know I did see one Bridgewater Bear do it last week, last broadcast as well. Didn't have a chance to point that one out, but it is good to see that players do get the freedom of choice there on that. And we have a penalty flag. Delay of game, the play clock, as you can see in the bottom right of your screen.
And while we have a second as they walk off the penalty, I do not mean to imply that Fitchburg State's players have been told they cannot do that. I don't know. I have not had that discussion. I don't intend to have that discussion.
And I haven't even been looking at their sideline either, so I have no idea if anyone's even done it.
I can tell you that no Falcons did tonight.
All right, then. So we march off the 5 yards, 1st and 15, and on the end around, looks like Napoleon Miller trying to get something, doesn't get a whole lot of everything, down at the 41-yard line. At least it looked like he didn't get a whole lot of anything, but maybe he got more than I thought.
Some pretty severe miscommunication going on between the field level staff and the folks here in the press box. Down on the field, they have it 4th down and 4 for Framingham State.
Yeah, I'm not even sure what down it is now.
It is 4th down.
It is 4th down.
Either that or Framingham State is punting on 2nd down, which I don't think they would normally do.
I don't think they would either, but they are punting for the first time tonight, and it is Clifford. Sid to punt it away. Taken in by Herbert Acosta, trying to get as much as he can on the return. Doesn't get a whole lot. He's down at the 18-yard line.
So Fitchburg State once again with very poor field position, and this time it's just as the result of an excellent punt.
And Ryan Clifford is averaging 32.6 per punt coming into today, which is a little better than Barrentos' 32 even. So
that was more than a 32-yard punt too. That was a boomer.
Yeah, his long this year is 48, and that was up there. So 1st and 10 for the Falcons from the 18-yard line as Acosta goes in motion to the right side. Might be looking to give him the ball, but instead they go to the left side. Valerio rolling out, trying to deke around, and eventually dives across towards the 24-yard line. He rolls, he is down, he is hurt.
Nelson Valerio down and clutching at his left knee. Oh, that is not good.
Not at all.
We've seen him wearing a brace on his right knee. Oh, boy. Folks, I think we're going to take a look at this one, and based on the reaction I'm hearing from the truck, you might want to avert your eyes if you're a little squeamish. So, folks, once again, we are going to show this. I'm told that it is a graphic replay. You might want to look away. We'll take a look at this one again. And again, it is Valerio's left knee. Yeah, right there. You see, he plants his left knee, and immediately he reacts. I mean, there's nothing you can say. That is a very bad injury. And Nelson Valerio is very poorly hurt, and we hope he recovers.
Absolutely. And as we mentioned, he was hurt in preseason last year. He didn't get a chance to play. So we know he has an injury history. It's disappointing to see that as well.
And we talked about him at the top of the broadcast. He's been having a very good season, stepping in, first-year starter for the Falcons. You know, he's just a sophomore. Obviously, I mean, this is not good. I don't know exactly what it is, and it's good that he's flexing it, and maybe he can come back later in the season, but it sucks for this kid. You feel so bad for him.
Yep.
I do, at least.
If there is one positive, he is walking off the field under his own power.
That's very good. I mean, we saw that replay. That looked like it could have been a lot worse.
Indeed.
And I mean, we're New England sports fans. We saw Eduardo Nunez last night in Game 1 of the ALDS. He did not walk off. So maybe this is full of sound and fury, signifying nothing, but that certainly looked like a scary injury.
Indeed, but the Falcons, they have a great medical staff. Todd Sulia, Rebecca Shersnow, Jordan Orrell. They'll make sure that Nelson Valerio gets looked at.
James Antonelli will step in at quarterback for the Falcons. Brown Simpson remains in the backfield with him.
It was Fitzsimons on the 2 deep as the reserve, so interesting that Antonelli steps in, but nonetheless he will look throw to his right side. It is incomplete. It is underthrown to Jesse Lastra. Trying to throw to the right side. It was going to be a short throw. It probably wasn't going to be that much of a gain because it looked like he was well covered by number 7 for the Rams and Rashawn Rivers. But all they can do is bounce back, try again. It'll be 3rd down and 6. Falcons must get to the 28-yard line, I guess more 3rd and 5. Antonelli again looking back, now looking to his right. He throws, it's tipped, and that is intercepted. And who is it again but Jaquan Harris?
Jaquan Harris, his 2nd pick of the game. I believe that's his 6th of the season, you said, Dan?
Something like that. Now his 5th of the season. He had 3 coming in. But Jaquan Harris, the senior from Boston, the accounting major, able to come up with this one.
Antonelli had a good pocket. He steps up. It's not that pass is tipped. Great defensive play there for Framingham State. That's Sven Jacobson. We've called his name a couple times tonight.
And it goes right into the hands of Jaquan Harris. Now on first down, that goes not very far for Framingham. They get 2 yards out of it. That's Karan Wright again. It's like even when it seems like the Rams don't get very far in the runs, they still pick up a couple yards here and there.
Even when there's nothing, they get something.
Absolutely. Whereas it seems like whenever Fitchburg gets nothing, they get nothing. And that's a testament to how well the Rams are at moving the line up, creating that space for their running backs. Walker looking to pass on second down. High throw down the field, looking for Miller. And a penalty flag flies through the air. Looks like it's going to be DPI against the Falcons. So say Napoleon Miller was held up there. I think there might have been a bit of a tug there.
We saw Miller call for it pretty much as soon as he slowed down. Back judge threw that one from about 25 yards away.
And the immediate gesture he made was for a hold, which would be slightly less disastrous, but still an auto first.
Uncatchable. Okay.
So they ruled he never had a chance, so it didn't really matter that he was interfered with, because even with the interference, he never was going to catch it. So third down.
Break for the Falcons there.
They'll take it.
Ball was pretty well overthrown.
Yeah, a lot of oomph there. I think Walker, as I mentioned coming in, it looks like he's more comfortable with shorter passes. We've seen him overthrow it a couple of times tonight. Third down, 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Again, in Miller, and Wright is the tailback, and he's going to take the ball. And even Walker's pushing up there and trying to block a little bit, create a hole. But in the end, Wright goes to his left and doesn't get much of anything, just a yard, and it's going to be fourth down.
Interesting play call for Framingham State. I think they were kind of operating under the assumption that they would get a few yards running the ball on 3rd and long and then maybe set up to go for it. But we see here Wright is just swarmed at the line of scrimmage, and he can't get much of anything.
It's Dylan Wood stepping up there. Great tackle. And Adalberto Alamo following on as well, and a whistle.
First time out here of the first half.
And it's going to be Fitchburg.
So the Falcons take their first. So getting back to that play call, Dan, I suspect that the Rams, they certainly don't call plays expecting them to get no yardage. I think they were going to be happy with a gain of maybe 5 on that one, which would have set them up with 4th and short and then made a more justifiable call to go for it.
Yeah, if you got the ball at the 35-yard line, then I think then you definitely want to go for it on 4th down. If you have it at the 40, it's a little harder to justify, especially when you have 7 yards to gain on that. So I do agree with you. I think they were looking for a little more than that, but Karan Wright getting stuff for 1 was not in their expectations. And now Ryan Clifford's going to try to pin them deep.
At the same time, if you're Fitchburg State, you've got to keep your eyes on a swivel here, because if Framingham State has a fake punt in their playbook, now's a good time for it. Or not.
Low snap made it a little more difficult there. Costa calling for the fair catch as they're going for the coffin corner, and they're able to put it inside the 10-yard line. So
that's a pretty good coffin corner kick right there.
It'll drop Clifford's average a little bit, but what does he care about that? He cares about results, and what that matters is that he's put it inside the 10-yard line.
They keep track of that, don't they?
Indeed they
Punts
do.
inside the 20, something like that?
They do keep track of that, and Clifford, he had one earlier tonight, so he's up to 8 on the season.
Hey, that's pretty good. He'll take that.
On 19 punts. But not every time do you get a chance to go for inside 20, but they don't track it that detailed like.
So James Antonelli stays in at quarterback for the Falcons. Obviously, we will try to get an update on Nelson Valerio.
Brown Simpson in the backfield with the pink socks. He'll take it on first down and plunge up the middle, down at the 12-yard line, or the 13. So we read it through the optics, about 3 or 4 yards on that, which is right about inside Brown Simpson's average on the season. Came in today with exactly 100 carries, 398 yards.
And this will be a chance, Danny, for that Framingham State running defense to really step up. The Falcons are down to their backup quarterback, obviously. You think they're going to be relying on the ground game as they try to get back into this one.
And Brown Simpson's going to try to run to the left side, sneaks past the defender, but 2 more there to wrap him up. It's another gain for Brown Simpson. Ball at the 14-yard line, so he really only gets about a yard on that.
Take a look at this one from the near sideline camera. It's great defense by the Rams.
Just too many players in white there, outnumbering the possible blockers in green.
It was Eli Etienne who finally brought him down. Got an assist from Sven Jacobson, because that's what happens when Framingham State gets a tackle. Sven Jacobson is involved, apparently.
He's one of the best they've got. 3rd down and 5. Antonelli rolling right side. Gonna step up throw to no one. Not enough room on the football field to find anyone, and whistles.
Looks like there's a flag in the backfield. Hold indicated against the Falcons, and I expect the Rams will decline this penalty.
Just take the 4th down unless they really considered that they want to pin Fitchburg deeper back, but I don't think that really matters in this juncture.
I think you saw there Framingham's defensive coordinator, Nathan Fleming, who is also a linebacker, saying, no, we're going to decline that penalty.
Not interested in that. Take the 4th down. And Brentos back out on there to punt it away. And the Rams, of course, have Karan Wright ready to return this.
Yes, because they need more opportunities to get the ball in his hands.
Brentos from the goal line. Puts this high in the air. Not terribly far. And there's a scramble for the balls. It may have touched a Ram. Let's have a look at it.
The Falcons have come out with the ball.
The Falcons come up with the football after the short punt. Framingham converged on it. Probably shouldn't have done that. It goes off one of them, and the Falcons able to dive on it, take the opportunity, and they're going to keep the ball.
There was another Ram in the area, and you saw Wright go after the ball as it bounced. We'll take a look at this one again. Wright charges forward. I think he's trying to make the catch, and then it bounces and hits him in the shoulder. And the Falcons are just able to fall on it.
Big break for the Falcons on 1st down. It is Herbert Acosta who made the catch. He loses the football, but it looks like they're going to call him down already. They're going to give him the catch.
We're going to say that Acosta was down. There's also a penalty flag that negates what might have been a fumble recovery for a touchdown for Nathan Fleming.
A whole lot of things have been happening in this football contest, hasn't it, Ben? It's one of those days.
Very few of them have been good for Fitchburg. So we've got a potential fumble. We've got a penalty flag down. We're going to see what the call is here.
During the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 72 in the defense. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 72 in the defense. Both penalties being enforced, 1st down.
Campbell Marchand just cost his team 30 yards.
My goodness.
You don't see that very often.
30 yards in penalties on one play.
Live and dead ball personal foul penalties for the senior out of Longmeadow. 30 yards cost by Campbell Marchand there. Fitchburg State is gifted, really, possession all the way down at the 20-yard line.
A large number of gifts going to the Falcons. They recover the muffed punt, get an 11-yard gain, and then 30 more on penalties, and they're in the red zone. How about that? 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. Antonelli left side. That is complete. Acosta is thrown to the ground, but not before gaining 5 yards, and the fact that he's been thrown to the ground may have caused something to happen there, but he's back up on his feet. Antonelli steps up, makes the quick throw over, and immediately wrapped up Jaquan Harris again.
So if you're a Fitchburg State fan, and frankly most of the folks watching this probably are, you have to score here, right?
Oh,
I mean, you get the muffed punt, you get 30 yards of penalties, you have to get in the end zone here.
You can't let this opportunity slip away. You don't know if you're ever going to have it again. Taking advantage of the Rams' errors, Antonelli throws. It tipped out of the hands of Lastra and out of the hands of one of the Rams' backs. And a penalty.
Jesse Lastra had a shot at that ball. Jojo Charles had a chance at that ball. There's another penalty flagged out.
I think it was out of the hands of Rashawn Rivers as well for Framingham. That was another rough pass, but now another penalty.
Take a look at this one, see what it is.
There's 2 fouls under play. Personal foul, shot clock on the offense. Personal foul, unnecessary roughness on the defense, and 37. All penalties all set. 3-point second down.
I'm going to call that more breaks for the Falcons, really.
All right.
I mean, you get offsetting personal fouls. We'll take a look at it again. We don't see the chop block. Right there, we see the unnecessary roughness. After that ball is long gone, that's Tom Burns, who just lowers his shoulder into Jesse Lastra.
Senior from Attleboro. And all that, nothing happens on that play. And so Antonelli throws over the middle, and that is caught. Touchdown!
Devin Samil reached out and snatched that ball. A great catch for him. Touchdown Falcons.
And as we said, they did need to score on that, and indeed they do. 8:56 to go, second quarter. The Falcons are on the board.
Take a look at this one again. Antonelli is under pressure, but he has enough time to get the ball away. Just a little bit overthrown, but Samil is able to reach out, pull the ball in, and hang on to it as he goes down. Extra point now is up, and it is good. So 13-7 is the score.
And we've still got a lot of football to play. 8:56 to go in the second quarter.
This game is not over yet.
Not even close to over. And for the Falcons, they do put points on the board. Last year, Framingham was here, and the Rams shut out the Falcons 14-0. In fact, that made it 8 consecutive victories for Framingham State.
Fitchburg has not beaten Framingham State since 2008.
It's a 41-34 victory here at Elliott Field. The Falcons, this is the 33rd meeting between these two teams. The Falcons 11 wins, 21 losses. The Falcons did have a 7-game winning streak. I can't say 7 years because one of those years they played Framingham twice. The Falcons come away with the touchdown. Devin Samil on the 14-yard catch, his 3rd touchdown of the season. Antonelli's first throwing touchdown, of course. Some interesting receivers back there, 6 and 19 for the Rams. Neither of them have taken a return this year, and it's a botched pickup there straight away. And still on his feet, a penalty comes, and now taken to ground is indeed Juca Morales, the freshman from Haverhill. Not a great sign when I'm saying, well, those are receivers who have not taken any returns. Reese Everett was the other one. And the penalties
there
against
is a penalty
Framingham.
against Framingham State. Really, Dan, ever since that muffed punt, every break has gone the Falcons' way. There's been a huge swing in momentum here.
So half the distance after all that. And the Rams most likely will be starting inside their 10. And you can see Juca Morales staying on his feet there, but it's the second Falcon who comes in and wraps him up there in Justice Smith. What a great name for someone.
That is a wonderful name, Justice Smith. Sounds like a character in a Phoenix Wright game.
Yeah.
Like a rival attorney.
And I was going to say, I hope he's criminal justice, but he isn't.
Aw.
So 1st and 10, Walker from the goal line throws right side, and that is caught.
That's a great catch.
Napoleon Miller coming up with that one.
That was a dynamite catch by Napoleon.
The junior from Boston, a diving catch. Selling out for that football, and he's able to pull it in. A big gain for Framingham.
We had talked about how the momentum had swung the Falcons' way. There's no better way to regain some momentum than with a deep pass down the sideline, and Napoleon Miller makes the catch.
Now Karan Wright doing Karan Wright things, running to the left side. Got about 6 yards on that one.
I find it interesting that doing right things involves running to the left.
Well, it's the right thing for him on that play, although maybe it would have been a little more right for him if he had run even farther, but it wouldn't have been right for Fitchburg. 6-yard gain for Karan Wright makes it 2nd down, and the Rams going pretty quickly here. 3 receivers to the right side, 1 to the left, right back in the backfield. Walker's going to take himself, run it right up the middle, and shakes off a tackle. Finally taken down by several more Falcons. It's going to be a gain of 3. It's going to be close, but not quite a 1st down.
Walker had a little bit of trouble handling that snap, but once he did, there was a huge hole to the right side. I don't know if that was a designed run or if he just saw that enormous hole and decided to take the ball himself. I think we're going to have a measurement here, Dan.
I believe so.
Is that our first measurement of the season?
I don't think we had any during the Bridgewater game, did we?
No. Also, this is not a good measurement. This is obviously a 1st down. I think it's pretty clear that he got it.
Yeah, based on the optics, and we're pretty much right in front of where the football would be. So let's see how close it is.
Oh, I was wrong.
Wow. That is...
We have a wonderful camera crew here at FATV. Have I mentioned that this week? We were able to spot, just because we have cameras everywhere and not by sheer absolute coincidental luck, that it is exactly 3rd down and 1 chain link. So, Danny, as we know, you have run the chains rather famously.
I have.
How long is 1 chain link?
I never actually tried to measure it, but there's also the fact that there's the little hook on the end of the chain, too, and it's that little length of the hook. I would say it's probably about 2-3 inches.
Okay.
Based on my estimations.
So it's 3rd down and a chain and a hook.
More or less.
Okay. And because this is college football, you're going to go shotgun on 3rd down and a chain and a hook.
Yep.
Why not?
Wouldn't have been my recommendation. Sebastian Robert in the backfield. 2 receivers to the left. Robert's going to try to charge into the line. He's obviously got the 1st here. And more. He'll be taken down just past midfield. So the Rams just going to slam into the line is what their plan is. They start in the shotgun to give themselves the run-up.
Okay.
That is.
I mean, it worked. I'm not going to question it after it worked. I just thought it was funny. It's 3rd down and 3 inches, and you line up in shotgun.
Yeah, I mean, I would have. Have we seen the Rams run in single back tonight?
I don't think
right
so.
Under center.
The Falcons have been going under center more than usual, but I don't think we've seen the Rams go under center once.
And it reminds me of another play from a couple years ago, but we'll leave it for the moment as a run to the right side doesn't get much of anywhere. Ball comes loose after the tackle. That was Robert again to the right side. But I guess what I was going to say is I remember, was it a year or 2 ago, the Falcons, for the most part, were running exclusively out of the pistol and shotgun and weren't taking any snaps under center. They tried to do a kneel down on a snap under center, and then they fumbled the football.
Was not good times.
No, it was not. It was one of those cases that's they don't do that formation at all, so they don't really know how to run it. You wonder if maybe that was the same reason why they didn't go under center on that play, and they just did what they did. It worked out anyway. 3 receivers to the left for Framingham with 6:10 to go. Throw to the right side, that's well overthrown. Not a ghost of a chance.
Morikito with the coverage there.
Morikito, one of the stronger defenders on this Falcon team, actually had a blocked punt return for a touchdown against Worcester a few weeks ago. But strong defense, but it didn't really matter exactly how well the defense was. Just hold them up a little bit, and at the end of the day, that ball well overthrown from Zach Walker. It's going to be a challenge nonetheless. 3rd down. It's going to be a quick roll to the left, looking for a receiver is Walker. He does throw. And does he find him in bounds? No, he does not. There's Nasir Thomas they wanted, but he had a foot in the white, and it's 4th down.
Thomas reached up and did make the catch, but the officials ruled that he was out of bounds when he did so. We'll take a look at this one again. Pretty well thrown ball. Right there, he's got the ball, but he's up in the air.
We didn't see any dragging of the feet, and
he is pretty clearly out of bounds. Good call.
Absolutely. Clifford looking to give this ball a ride. It's a spiraling kick through the air. It's going to bounce backwards, but still, it's around the 10-yard line. It starts rolling forwards, eventually goes out of bounds around the 7. So another strong punt from Ryan Clifford.
This guy is a really good punter.
He's pretty good at this.
Like an actually really good punter.
It's a third punt inside the 20 for him tonight. Ryan Clifford, a freshman from Brockton, 6'3", 250.
He's a big guy, number 96, too.
Indeed he is. And compared to the reserve kicker and punter, they have Sean St. Marie, who had the duties for the most part last year, 5'6", 160.
It's quite the difference.
It's an incredible difference. You know who else is 5'6", 160? Karan Wright. So, size does matter after all. On first down, play action throw right side. It gets to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, but don't you also have to have somebody there?
That would be the problem as well. It gets to the line of scrimmage. Is he still inside the tackle box is the question.
I think he was. I'm pretty sure that's a safety, Dan.
That may very well be a safety.
Yep.
That is a safety. 15. It is 15-7.
Patrick Haverty is not pleased.
And this is the second safety the Falcons have conceded this season. But yeah, looked throw to the right side, still inside the tackle box. And although he got the ball to the line of scrimmage, there was nobody there.
There was absolutely nobody there. I think Patrick Haverty was the closest Falcon to the ball. And he's not an eligible receiver.
Never an eligible receiver. And so, and just like the one other safety the Falcons conceded this year in the first play of a drive from strong punting. So 15-7 the score now. 5:43 to go in the second quarter, and Jason Barrentos, for the second time this year, gets to execute the safety punt. Which is
I can't imagine this is something you practice too often.
Probably not, and it's not nearly as fun as the safety dance.
No. I mean, you can punt if you want to.
Just don't leave your friends behind. So Barrentos will send it away. Land around the 33-yard line. That is Napoleon Miller. Juking around, moving around. Great run back from Miller. Another cutback, and he is down at the 36-yard line in Fitchburg territory.
Napoleon Miller with an incredible return. He looked like he was going to be brought down after barely any gain at all. Cuts it back to the far side, dances through tackles. We'll see this one again. Take a look at this. Miller takes the ball in right there.
So he immediately recognizes he's not going to get anything to the right side, cuts back up the middle. Look at him changing direction. How many times does he change direction?
Look at him maintain his balance, too. He was almost brought down from behind. He was able to stay on his feet, pick up another 15 yards. The Rams have it at the Falcon 35.
Excellent run back as Bean takes the ball on first down into the pile. A maul's formed, but coming around and from behind, pulling to the ground, is one of the Falcons, the big guys there.
When Laval Prentice Jr. has you in a waist lock, you are not getting away.
Not at all. 5'5", 290. He had him wrapped up and was not going to let go.
Prentice just grabs him, holds on. He looks like he's trying to give him a suplex. He couldn't get him up for that, but he was absolutely not going to let this man go.
He was not going to. Holds Bean to 2 yards. Right back into the game, 3 receivers left. It's a pitch to right. Looking around, trying to find that flank on the left side. And he's not really able to get anything. In fact, he's lost yards on this one.
Flag down at the line of scrimmage right on the far sideline.
So it's a provisional loss of yards. And another tackle for Laval Prentice Jr. Referee will discuss with his linesman. Do you have any idea what this one could be?
No, I really don't.
I don't either.
Right at the line of scrimmage, right on the far sideline, illegal formation. Somebody moving at the snap. Guy's socks were mismatched. Guy voted for Donald Trump. We can't have that on a football field.
Not in this state.
I don't know. Guy thought CeCe Sabathia was a better starting pitcher than he was. Guy thought it was a good idea to start Devin Marrero. I'd throw a flag on that. If somebody started Devin Marrero in a playoff game for my team, I'd absolutely throw a flag. Yeah, let's get the call. No, let's get a conference. I can make up more false penalties. Can be snarky in the press box. That's a penalty. Make a Simpsons reference. That's a penalty. Start a running joke that nobody gets except my co-commentator. That's a penalty. Something like that.
Maybe one of those. Now we finally have a decision.
On the offense, number 5. Eligible contact with targeting. Number 5 is
Whoa. Napoleon Miller just got thrown out of the game.
I have never seen that. Targeting on the offense.
He can't believe what's just happened. But he's been told that he will take no further part in this game, and for the second time in this contest, we have seen an ejection on targeting.
It's the third targeting ejection we've seen at Elliott Field this year. We'll take a look at this one again. Napoleon Miller is number 5. He's at the top of your screen here. And then right there, okay, yeah. He delivers an elbow to the face of a defender. You can't do that, Napoleon. That's against the rules.
That is unacceptable football conduct.
Take a look at this one again. He lowers the head.
And there was helmet-to-helmet contact there as well.
Yeah.
That is the correct call.
Yep.
Right pitch back, double pitch back, and now Miller's going to throw, and he is complete. My goodness, what a play for Framingham State. And it is Karan right in the end who finishes that one off. He's down inside the 15-yard line.
So I think every quarter Framingham State is going to add a new wrinkle. They started just with Karan Wright running to the left side, and that was fine. And then they did one where Wright would run to the left side and toss back to a receiver, and that was fine. And now they've got the receiver tossing back to the quarterback, who then throws to Wright. I think they're eventually going to work in one where Wright does like a hook and lateral sort of thing, where he does a little dance like right here. They're going to have an entire choreographed number. They're going to do Be Our Guest from Beauty and the Beast, and they're going to get 27 yards out of it.
It's just incredible is what that was. There's a penalty on this one as well.
Well, it had been 20 seconds.
I've seen a lot of those tonight. They'll take the results of the offside, so 5 yards. It was a 6-yard run, and that's actually the first offsides we've seen tonight.
Okay.
So at least it is a new penalty.
That's true.
For
what else have we not seen? We've not seen illegal shift. I don't think we've seen that.
I don't think we saw the illegal formation you mentioned earlier.
That's true.
And yet we've seen targeting twice. You'd think that'd be one of the rarer penalties, but not so tonight.
You would hope that that would be one of the rarer penalties.
You would hope so as well. Karan Wright busting through the middle. He's going to get some yards on that. He's inside the 5. And another first and goal for the Rams. They scored on first and goal last time, didn't they?
Yes, they did.
But Karan Wright is going to take a breather, give some high fives as he goes to the sideline.
I think, in fact, both of the Ram touchdowns have been on first and goal. Actually, maybe no, that's not true. One of their touchdowns was a big one.
Yeah, it was a little farther out. So it is Robert in the backfield. Inside the 5-yard line. They do give it to Robert. He's not going to get all the way there, but he's got a whole bunch of the way there. Looks like he's down at the 1-yard line. 3 minutes to go in the second quarter.
And really, Dan, given the way Framingham State has dominated play, even if they get in the end zone here, the Falcons kind of have to count themselves lucky to be within 2 scores, don't they?
I think so. It's a run to... It's like Walker with the play action. He took it himself after it looked like he'd hand it off to Robert.
He fooled everybody.
He fooled me on that. Touchdown, Framingham.
Take a look at this one again. He does the play action fake. The Falcons bite on it. Our camera does not bite on it. Our play-by-play commentator did, but that's okay. It happens.
Indeed it does.
Excellently designed and well-executed play by the Rams. Gives them a touchdown.
We'll go for the extra point. Clifford 1 for 2 tonight, 75% on the season coming into tonight. And Walker is the holder. Ball down, kick is up. That is good.
Kick is good. There is, however, a penalty flag.
So many of these tonight. I have not been keeping a running counter, and our live stats have not been working tonight.
Well, that's unfortunate.
We'll know by halftime.
I'm going to say 108. There have been 108 penalty flags thrown in this game.
Defense delay game for disconcerting signals. That penalty is declined. The extra point is good.
I'm sorry, what?
Defensive delay of game. There's another one.
The defense could have delay of game?
Surprise. Yep.
Okay.
Doesn't happen very often, but it can happen.
That's what I had not seen.
I do remember, I mentioned before the game, I watched some other teams' broadcasts to get perspective. And I was watching Bridgewater and Endicott, and they did call defensive delay on that one.
Okay.
There were at least 3 or 4 times that their announcer said, I didn't know that was a thing you could do.
Well, I did not know that was a thing you could do either. So I hope you're not bad-mouthing announcers who did not know that that was a thing you could do.
I'm not planning on it. I was aware of it, but I didn't get a good hear on what exactly he did. But nonetheless, they I think delayed the ball from being put into play.
Oh, okay.
Something like that.
Well, that's against the rules, and you shouldn't do that. Bad thing, whatever it is you did.
Tristan McKetty and Justin Jean Charles back to receive this kick from Clifford. He'll boot it away. Looks like it'll go in the direction of Jean Charles. He'll take it around the 5-yard line. Try to run it up the left side. And he's taken down around the 20.
It was a great hit on the tackle by the Rams. I believe that was Brian Donahue who made the tackle.
You know, it's a strong tackle when you hear a groan from somewhere, like, oh!
Half the fans here on the near sideline let out a gasp at that one.
Antonelli remains in the game, 2:41 to go, second quarter. Fitchburg 7, Framingham 22. Interesting score line there, but that'll happen with the missed extra point and a safety. So Javon Brown-Simpson in the backfield, 2 receivers to the right for Fitchburg, and it'll be a handoff to Brown-Simpson, try to burst through the hole. He's able to get to the 24-yard line.
Falcons will get the ball to start the second half, so if you are an eternal optimist who say, well, you know, get the ball in the end zone here, you've got 2 minutes and 2 timeouts, that seems doable at least, and then you get the ball back, and hey, in 2 drives, this game could be tied.
It can happen. I would say, do not lose hope. Second down, 7 to go. Antonelli looking to his right immediately, throws, and it is nearly intercepted. He's looking for Herbert Acosta, but trying to step up there and nearly picking that one off is Tom Burns.
We'll take a look at this one again.
Throw to the right side. And Burns just reaching out there, knocking that ball away from Acosta.
Pass is very well defended by Burns.
Senior from Attleboro, leads the team in tackles among corners and safeties at 17 coming in today. Only 1 pass breakup, though, and 1 interception. I would say a breakup is separate from an interception, I think.
Yes. Yes.
All right.
Interceptions are easy, but breaking up is hard to do.
And whistles.
Oh, damn it. Now we have to call attention to my bad song reference. I was just going to slide that one in, never mention it again.
It is delay, offensive delay.
Okay, that one I'm familiar with.
We thought we had that one earlier today, but then that was a matter of the play clock wasn't properly set. But this time it was properly set, and the Falcons used up all of it. Minus 5 yards.
So now 3rd down and 12 for Fitchburg State. They're trying to keep themselves in this game. They really need to convert here.
So Antonelli looking to his right now, going to give it off in the end, and that's not gone right.
2 Rams leading the assault there was Brent Campbell and Joshua Onajuego.
Just a late handoff to Solomon there. That was an interesting play design.
was a very slow developing draw. And now Framingham State takes their first timeout. They're going to get the ball back, and they're probably looking to get points on the board for themselves.
Falcons will be punting from deep in their own territory yet again.
There's Brent Campbell. He is a good-sized gentleman. Listed 6 foot 330, comes to us out of Salem, Massachusetts.
330 pounds. The Falcons have one guy that big, that is Connor Boland. He is 330 pounds, number 67 for the Falcons, 6'2" from South Hampstead, New York. I guess that's the closest comparable that we've got.
Take a look at this one again. Campbell just buries Jaquay Solomon there.
Said 6 feet tall, 330, a freshman. He is a biology major. So 1:57 to go. Barrentos takes it from the goal line, nearly blocked, but it will bounce the 40-yard line. Not a good bounce for Fitchburg. And the Falcons will just jump on that one as Rashawn Rivers just watches it. But you could hear one of the fans in the crowd yelling, "Pop Warner, get away from the football," such as...
Is that a fan in the crowd or a Framingham State coach?
Well, I don't really know. It could have been one or the other. I mean, it sounds conceivable it could be either of them. It was definitely someone favoring Framingham State. And, I mean, they're right. You shouldn't be that close to the football. Just don't let it get
right
that.
there, if that ball even grazes his toe, that's a live ball.
And the Falcons have already been the beneficiary of one of those tonight. On first down, a run up the middle. Gets not very far.
So Will Cowdery's first carry of the game, I believe.
You know, Cowdery was in there for one other play earlier, but yes, that would be his first carry. Now the live stats are up right now. See the leading runner for the Rams, Cron Wright, 11 for 79, 7 per carry. It's about what you'd expect out of him. Second down, roll out right side. Walker throwing long, deep, end zone. And touchdown Rams, Nasir Thomas.
Thomas was wide open. That was a very well thrown up play and an excellent delivery by Zach Walker.
We've seen him overthrow some balls tonight, but that one was just right. And Nasir Thomas able to come up with it for his first touchdown catch of the season. Let's watch this again.
Walker rolls to his right, he sets his feet, passes just a little underthrown, but Thomas was so wide open, he's able to make the catch and dive into the end zone. And Framingham State will attempt the extra point.
Clifford will put that one up, and that is good. So now 29-7 Framingham. They only needed about 40 seconds and change to get 6 more on the board before halftime.
So Dan, the Falcons are going to get the ball back with 1:10 to play, and given how well their last possession went, I don't think they're going to go all out trying to get this one into the end zone. If you're Patrick Haverty, what are you telling your kids as you go into the locker room for halftime here?
That's a challenging question to me.
It is difficult to put yourself in an optimistic position.
There's 30 more minutes left in this game, and the best you could do is try to take some lessons from
Is the fact that there are 30 minutes left to play a good thing?
Well, put it this way. The biggest blowout in D3 football this year was 98-0.
Okay, so we're not going to have that.
So it could always be worse is the thing that sticks in my mind.
That's a good mindset. It could be worse. We could, for instance, have decided to sit Rafael Devers in a playoff game for some reason. That would be worse. Patrick Haverty didn't do that.
Gene Charles takes it to the 25-yard line. 65 seconds to go in the second quarter. Falcons do get the ball back, as you said, but it's a bit of a challenge to work with here.
I strongly suspect that there are 2 kneel downs left to play here in the second quarter, but I could be wrong.
The thing is, the Rams do have 2 timeouts in case they decided they wanted to have a go at the ball. They could get it back with about 20 seconds left if they really wanted to do something with it.
I choose to believe that Tom Kelly is not that cruel. He is a good and decent man, as football coaches go.
84, 53-1 in his coaching career, 78-33.
And I was wrong about the kneel downs, so you know.
So on first down, it is a handoff. Jaquay Solomon will take it back to the line of scrimmage and then get an extra yard.
And I was wrong about the timeouts, so I'm just wrong about everything right now.
The Rams will take their second timeout with 59 ticks. They turned off the tenths counter. I was counting down in tenths last week, or 2 weeks ago, but yeah, football is football, and you don't see the tenths of second thing. That's just one of the things I like. 59 seconds to go here in the second quarter. It's been a challenge for Fitchburg, especially too with a quarterback in James Antonelli, who hasn't played a whole lot this season. Antonelli only had 14 pass attempts coming into today.
So we take a look at both sidelines here. This is very good work by the FATV truck. I wasn't going to draw attention to it, Dan, but what has been your favorite wipe to replay graphic tonight so far? There've only been, 25 of them.
I know the one with the fire burning through the image.
That's a good one.
Yep,
I like
that one stuck out at me. I think the one that goes with the blue replay, then back to live, that one I think is cliche. I've seen that too many times. I do like the too many different broadcasts.
I'm a fan of the logo wipe, honestly.
I like the logo wipe as well. So 59 seconds to go in the second quarter. Antonelli will pitch it off to Samil, and Samil is going to get wrapped up after gaining about a yard.
I think by the strictest interpretation of the rules, that was a forward pass.
I believe you're correct on that as well. I'm trying to think of one quarterback in the NFL who I saw make several of those shovel passes. Was it Alex Smith?
Probably.
Yeah, during the Kansas City game, week 1.
That sounds right.
Which I presume is one of those games that as Patriots fans you try to block out of your mind.
Any game the Patriots lose is a game you want to forget.
The Rams called their second timeout, by the way, so 53 seconds remain in the second quarter.
Of course they did.
So third down, Jaquay Solomon back in the backfield, and we'll see what Antonelli does this time. It is a handoff straight to Solomon. Holds onto the ball with both of his hands. Arms hugging the ball. He is tackled by no fewer than 4 Rams. And there is a 7-second difference between game and play clock, so the Falcons do have to kick it away or do something of that nature.
We might get to see one of my favorite plays in all of football, which is there's 2 seconds left on the clock, you have to punt. You just snap the ball to your punter and wait for someone to tackle. I like that play a lot.
Could see that as well. The question is, can the Falcons keep the ball? I mean, can they prevent getting tackled for 7 seconds?
I would like to think so.
The Falcons will call their second timeout. With 7 seconds on the clock, I was hoping you weren't going to say the fair catch kick, because that's a thing that does not exist in college football.
I like the fair catch kick, but can I pretend that I knew it wasn't a thing? Because I just forgot to mention it.
Yeah.
But no, there are no fair catch kicks in college football, as you knew.
Yep. There is in high school football, except Massachusetts is one of 2 states that uses the NCAA playbook, which means in this state it doesn't exist at the high school level either.
Well,
but it does exist at the NFL level. It could happen in a Patriots game. It almost did happen in Super Bowl 51. The Patriots considered doing that on the last play of regulation.
That's right, but then they did that weird thing where Deion Lewis hurt his knee or something.
Yeah, they did that instead.
So as we get ready for the final play of the second half here, of the first half rather, we do want to encourage you to stick around for halftime. Amanda Agassi is going to be checking in with us on the sideline. There she is. She's got Mamou Sam with her again. We'll check in with them at halftime. But for right now, we have one more play to go.
Let's see how the Falcons handle this. 7 seconds left. Barrentos back to punt it away. Will he try to play chicken for 7 seconds? No, he will kick it away. And this one will bounce far enough away to the point that it's going to go out of bounds, and that is going to be the end of the first half.
Okay, so that went poorly. but it is halfway done, which is either cause for optimism or cause for terror at the realization that there are still 30 minutes of football left to play. Framingham State leads this one by a score of 29-7, and there will be plenty of time for discussing exactly what went wrong and what can possibly go right to correct this score if you're a Fitchburg State fan. But for now, we're going to, as we said, send it down to the sideline. Amanda Ejection is standing by with Mahmoud Sam. Take it away, Amanda.
Hey guys, so we're back. You know, it's a 29-7 game. Framingham leading. Back with my special guest, Mamu. He'll be here the whole game with me. Mamu, it's exactly what we were talking about before the game. Everything will be dependent on what happens in the first quarter. Let's talk about that.
Well, the first quarter started off a little bit slow. Fitchburg, they try to, feel around the offense, try to get it going, try to get a little drive started, but Framingham ended up shutting that down quick. They ended up getting on the scoreboard, and after Framingham started getting on the scoreboard one time, it led to another score, and Fitchburg's defense their morale started to go down. So you could tell that this game was just going to switch over to Framingham, trying to take over the game right now. And as we see, the score just got outrageous in the second quarter. So.
And it's kind of hard to believe it's only halftime right now.
Yeah.
But let's talk about, we had a couple injuries. We had a Pittsburgh player ejected. What happened to Jenry? What happened to him? We saw that he got ejected from the game. Can you tell us why?
Well, we see junior linebacker Jenry Rosario actually got ejected for targeting. And targeting is a penalty that is enforced when you have a head-to-head collision with another player. And we've seen that happen early in the first quarter. And that is actually a very key loss for the defense, because he's one of the returning players that actually played last year.
Ladies and gentlemen, please
fill
welcome.
them in, but I don't know exactly who the personnel they have in right now. And on Framingham side, their wide receiver actually got ejected too for the same targeting. So it may have bounced the playing field, but I don't know how it's going to end up in the second half, seeing that Framingham still has the lead.
Exactly. It's a big question mark for both of us here. And let's see how the second half goes. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Amanda. Framingham State leading this one by a score of 29-7. So Dan, as we take a look at the halftime stats real quick, are there any positive signs here for the Falcons? I mean, you've had your quarterback go down with what certainly looked to be a serious knee injury. We have not seen Nelson Valerio return to the field. James Antonelli stepped in, not terribly effective in a backup role. I mean, what can you say for Fitchburg State if you're looking to have any hope of a comeback here in the second half?
Well, it's definitely been a challenge, and let's just look at the number. I guess for me, let's just look at the numbers right now. Antonelli, 4 of 7 for 33 yards, a touchdown and a pick. Nelson Valerio, before he exited, was just 2 of 7 for 23 yards. He wasn't getting a lot of time in the pocket. It was having some trouble there. Javon Brown-Simpson has had 5 carries for 12 yards. Jaquay Solomon, 5 for -4. Ow. And Devin Samil, the leading receiver, 3 for 24, including the touchdown. I mean, it's, oh boy. And in terms of third down efficiency, the Falcons are 0 for 7. My goodness, the more I look into it, the worse it gets.
It has not been a promising first half of action if you are a fan of the Falcons. I think we're going to step aside, take a break, enjoy the beautiful atmosphere. It is a beautiful Friday night here at Elliott Field, a rare opportunity to do a night game for the Falcons. We're going to take a break. We'll be back for the second half. It is Falcon football right here on FATV. John Gugerty joined by Dan Bolak. And Danny, so far, the Falcons have really not showed up.
It's been a challenge for the Falcons tonight. They've been facing one of the toughest teams in the conference this year, well, the toughest based on record, the last undefeated team this season in the MASCAC. But the challenge has been trying to stop Karan Wright and stop the rest of the Framingham State cast, and that has been a major challenge.
And maybe I was a little harsh there. The Falcons obviously did show up to play, and they're trying hard, and we don't want to harp on them too much. They have had injuries as well. Quarterback Nelson Valerio left the game with what looked like a very serious knee injury. He has not yet returned, but really the defense has not been able to stop Framingham State. They are moving the ball at will.
Absolutely. 242 yards of total offense for the Rams on 36 plays. That's 6.7 yards per play. The Falcons are averaging a third of that at 2.1. 30 plays, 64 yards. There is one thing the Falcons, I think, have done better at. They have taken fewer penalty yards.
Okay.
It is 71 for Framingham, 51 for Fitchburg in accepted penalties, and each team is tied 1-1 in targeting penalties.
That's true. We have seen multiple players ejected from this game for targeting. It is a beautiful night for football here at Elliott Field, and we are always happy to bring you a Friday night game. I personally very much enjoy doing the Friday night games here at Elliott Field. We get a nice shot of the field that we don't usually see. We don't usually see the moon, and it is very beautiful tonight. So we have that going for us.
Indeed it is, and Fitchburg does get to start with the ball here in this second half, and you can see our fine camera crew up in the lift.
That's Nicole on the left and Jared on the right. Good on them, and all of the FATV volunteer crew doing a fantastic job bringing you this game, and we will continue to do so into the long hours of the night.
Yep, there was a person in a Guillaume Latendresse jersey in the crowd.
In a what?
Guillaume Latendresse, he played for the Minnesota Wild, and he was the first player in the NHL to wear number 84, although he wore 48 with the Wild.
Okay.
These are the silly statistics you're going to get when the game starts becoming more lopsided, you know.
The first guy ever to wear 84?
In the NHL, yes.
That's not. How does a league exist for 75 million years, or however long the NHL has existed, and not have one guy wear one number?
It's amazing. It took until 2003 until someone wore 69.
Well, that I at least understand. Nobody's that nice.
That is correct.
We should call football now.
And that we will, as Ryan Clifford kicks it away. We start the third quarter, taken from the goal line by the Falcons up to the 20-yard line, and that's about it. Took a left turn trying to avoid the pile there is Chris Tomachetti, but he could not do so. And so the Falcons will take the field from the 20-yard line to start the second half.
And as they do so,
it is Antonelli who is
once
back
again
in.
James Antonelli, the quarterback. Again, if you're just joining us, Nelson Valerio went down with a non-contact knee injury early in this game, and he has not yet returned. If we get any update on his condition, we will, of course, pass it along.
So 1st and 10 for the Falcons. Antonelli will hand it off to Javon Brown-Simpson trying to run to the right flank. He's not able to get there quickly enough. There's a player grabbing towards the area of his shoulder pads, but not sticking his hand inside to prevent the horse collar. In the end, Brown-Simpson never able to get to the flank, and he ends up losing a yard. So look at the replay here. As he goes to his right side, he's trying to find it, but you can see number 72 grabbing on there. Just able to hold him on, that's Campbell Marchant.
Campbell Marchant earlier in this game cost his team 30 yards on one play with 2 personal foul penalties.
Well, he's made up for a little of that there. 2nd and 11. And Antonelli looking left side, that is complete. And wow, would you look at that?
Another big hit delivered.
Blaster with the completion. Sorry, Jesse Brown with the completion there.
This one was by Kenneth Bartolo. Just leveled Jesse Brown.
Looked like a stiff arm tackle, basically. Just had to extend the arm and just sent him straight to ground. And now you can see the Falcons sideline. It's been a bit of a rough night for them thus far, taking on the last undefeated team in the MASCAC, one of only 2 in New England. Well, there are certain disclaimers to that, which I'll get to if I have some time. It's 3rd and 1, by the way. It is a handoff to Brown-Simpson. He's fighting for yardage, and he's not going to get it. And the Falcons are now 0 for 8 on 3rd down tonight.
You knew coming in that it would be an uphill battle for the Falcons. They would need to get a couple of bounces to go the right way, and that really has not been the case. They haven't been able to get anything going offensively.
Yep. Read brilliantly there by Nathan Fleming. Wraps up Brown-Simpson, never had a chance of really getting much of anything.
We've called Fleming's name a lot tonight. He has been all over the place for this Ram defense.
Indeed he has been, and so the Falcons will be forced to punt yet again. And it is Barrentos back there to kick it away. Nicely snapped, nicely booted as well. That could be a muff, but it's going to be overrun by the Falcons. And now Bartolo's picked it up at the 35-yard line. He'll be wrapped up there, but that was an opportunity. The Falcons might have been able to steal that ball away again.
Framingham State has had a lot of trouble covering punts. They have a really good defense. You would think they would have practice covering punts, but we've seen 2 muffs, 1 near muff. This time the Rams are lucky to recover the ball.
Indeed, it's been a challenge for the Rams tonight. It's like punt defense, punt returning is not one of their specialties. Apparently that was the weakness.
Well, that's clearly the thing. Of course, if your offensive strategy revolves around punting them the ball and hoping something good happens, it's not going to work a lot.
And just to explain the undefeated thing, there are 5 undefeated teams in New England. 3 are in the NESCAC, who play a 9-game conference schedule. They don't play out of conference, and they don't play in the NCAA tournament. So I like to pretend they don't exist for purposes of this.
They seem to like to pretend they don't exist either. They just go off on their little island and they play football with each other, and it's fine.
They do. Very prestigious, though. And they just expanded to the 9-game schedule this year, so that's a first down for Framingham State. Nice run up the middle there.
It's Will Cowdery's best carry of the ball game.
Indeed it is. His long carry on the season is 19 yards. He's averaging 7 a carry this year as well. We'll probably see, perhaps we might see a little less of Karan right now that the game is starting to get a little more lopsided. The 3 teams in the NESCAC are undefeated. Framingham's the 4th team in New England, and I would ask you, do you know who the last one is? But you already saw my stat sheet, so you already know the answer.
Yeah, sure. I totally know the answer that you're going to say.
As this time, it is Cowdery not getting much of anywhere.
I absolutely remember everything that I have been presented with, always, yes. That is a fact that I'm going to say.
Cowdery will gain 1 yard on this. And the camera guy actually missed that one, but he got the tackle in the end.
We don't call attention to that.
I know I shouldn't. That's the one time.
I have important breaking news, Danny.
Yes?
Jose Ramirez just struck out.
Has he?
Yes.
11:25 to go, third quarter, 29-7. Framingham run up the middle on 2nd down, and another yard gain for the Rams.
You see, if I frame it as important breaking news, then I'm not technically rebroadcasting or redistributing the accounts or descriptions of those games, which, as you know, are the express written property of Major League Baseball and may not be disseminated without their consent.
It's great that you memorized the whole thing there. Getting ready for that baseball job.
Yes.
3rd down and 8 now for the Rams. They are 3 for 7 on 3rd down tonight. And the one other undefeated team is Springfield College. The Pride are 5-0, as this is a throw complete to, no it isn't. They were looking for Stephen Bean, but it is incomplete. He wasn't able to come up with it. Looked like he had it in his hands, juggled it, and just lost it.
It was not a useful play by Bean on that one.
And that's going to lead to, looks like another Ryan Clifford punt coming out here.
So the Falcon defense needed a stop, and for the lighthearted tone with which we have approached the first 5 minutes of this 3rd quarter, it is only a 3-score game. The Falcons are still in this one. They need some stops and they need some points. They just got to stop.
Booted downfield by Clifford. Fair catch called by Acosta, and he will take it in inside the 15-yard line.
It's about a 50-yard kick. It's pretty good.
Another long punt there from the freshman from Brockton. As we mentioned, 6'3", 250. A lot of muscle in those legs.
And once again, the Falcons offense finds itself pinned deep in their own territory. I mean, there has not been a lot of good execution for Fitchburg State's offense, but to be fair, they have been on the back foot. They're on a backup quarterback. More often than not, they're starting inside their own 20-yard line.
On 1st down, play action pass, and it is
swatted down. Kenneth Bartolo with a great defensive play there.
Indeed, we'll look at the replay. I'm holding back on the quarterback because I'm not sure if it's Antonelli or Fitzsimons right now.
That is Antonelli.
It is Antonelli. Unfortunately, with this great Falcon unis, but the 8 and 0 do look similar at times.
Yes, they do. I blame the guy who decided the quarterback's number should be 18 and 10.
That one, Jaquay Solomon makes the catch. He doesn't get very far. And
Nathan Fleming, again, with an incredible tackle.
So a completion and a loss of a yard or two. And another third down coming for the Falcons. And for any attempt of a comeback or whatever, the first thing they need to do is to convert on third down, which the Falcons aren't terrible at this year, about 40%. They haven't found a way past this Rams defense yet on third down. Antonelli looking to pass, throws deep. This is trouble and an interception, and would you look at that? Who else could it be to pick it off but Jaquan Harris for the third time tonight?
Jaquan Harris has been all over this field. It feels like if someone's going to make a tackle, it's going to be Nathan Fleming, and if someone's going to make a pick, it's going to be Jaquan Harris. Take a look at this one. Antonelli is under pressure. He throws this one from his back foot, kind of sails on him, and Jaquan Harris just jumps in there and makes the pick for the third time tonight. And then good work by him just to hang on to that football after the hit from Devin Samil.
It's been brilliant for Harris, and now Walker will throw, and that was into the lineman. That might have been picked off.
That pass is intercepted.
Indeed it was. I think that's Marquise Frazier there.
That is Marquise Frazier with the interception.
Falcons take it right back on an underthrown football. Would you believe that?
A huge break for the Falcons. Marquise Frazier makes the pick, gives the offense another chance.
That was just underthrown there by Walker, and it ended up in between Frazier and one of the Bednarses.
So we'll take a look at this one again. Walker just delivers the ball into the line of scrimmage. Marquise Frazier comes up with it.
Well done by Frazier. And now this is thrown left side. Trying to go for the one-handed catch was Samil, but that's incomplete. He was never, actually, he did come down with the ball, but he was out of bounds. Simple as that. I'd hate to put out this stat the way it is, but Devin Samil has the most catches of any Falcon with 3. But obviously, Jaquan
I believe
Harris.
that ties him with Jaquan Harris.
Yep, he has 3 catches too. He's caught 3 balls from Falcon quarterbacks tonight.
Take a look at this one again. Antonelli throws this one off his back foot. Samil almost makes the one-handed catch.
Yep. I guess he didn't catch it after all. Just had it at the end as Javon Brown-Simpson's got a pretty nice run here. Bouncing off a couple of tackles up the middle, and he's going to get 8 yards on that. It's his longest run of the night. Longest run for any Falcon.
Brings up a manageable third down for Fitchburg State.
It's also worth putting out the Rams have only allowed 25.5% of third down plays to go for a first this year, which is best in the MASCAC. And I think one of the top 20 in the nation as well. 3rd and 2. They go with the handoff. Brown-Simpson fighting for yardage. He's going to have it. It's going to be a first down for the Falcons. Nathan Fleming with the tackle. The Falcons get to move the chains. First time they've done that on third down tonight.
Good running here by Javon Brown-Simpson. We'll see it again on the replay. He's hit right there, but he's able to just lower his shoulder, lunge forward, and pick up the first down to keep the offense moving.
Breaking off that tackle was key. If it's the initial tackle that comes up with it, then it's not going to be a first down. This time with Acosta in motion, Brown-Simpson runs up the middle, and he gets it to the 44-yard line, a 4-yard gain. Etienne on the tackle.
Pretty good blocking there by the Falcon offensive line. You know, 4-yard runs on first down aren't terribly flashy, but if you can keep doing them consistently, you'll move the ball.
Absolutely, 4-yard run, 4-yard run, 4-yard run. That adds up to 12. That's more than 10. Now it's going to be Antonelli, throws over the middle. This is caught. Devin Samil's got that one. And he's down inside the Rams' 40-yard line. Another first down.
And that's what those 4-yard runs will let you do. You establish that running game, even if it's not explosive, even if it's not Karan Wright running for 15, 20 yards. You get 4 or 5 a pop. You can go play action. You see here, Antonelli has plenty of time. He delivers an accurate pass to Samil, and he's able to pick up the first down. And we have a player down.
And it is one of the Rams.
Everybody taking a knee here. And that is number 28 for Framingham State. It's Carls Alphonse.
Sophomore defensive back from Somerville. Major is unknown at this time. But
he's able to get up and walk off under his own power.
That's what you'd like to see. He'll come back to the sideline. We'll wish the best for him.
Falcon cheerleaders there trying to will their guys to a successful offensive possession.
Falcons now inside the Rams' 40-yard line. 1st and 10, Antonelli calling out signals. 2 receivers to the left for the Falcons, 2 to the right. Brown Simpson in the backfield. On the shotgun snap, throw left side. It is caught by Acosta, and he's pushed out of bounds inside the 25-yard line. That was nearly disaster in a couple ways, but it worked out for the Falcons in the end.
Turns out Jaquan Harris can tackle, too.
I say this is nearly disaster because you look at that, it was nearly tipped, might have even gotten a piece of it.
Might have gotten a fingertip on that one.
If anything, it seemed like it had just enough to get into the hands of Herbert Acosta. Now back to throw on 1st down. Gutting over the middle, and that one is caught as well.
That pass was high, but he was able to go up and get it. Jesse Brown making a good catch. All of a sudden, Danny, the Falcons are moving.
They've strung together some plays here, and Jesse Brown able to go up and get this one. 6'3", reaching out with the extension. The sophomore from Yonkers. Move the chains again for the Falcons. It is 1st and 10. And they're inside the 20-yard line at the 14. Antonelli looks to his right, now throws left, floated towards the end zone. It's going to be batted away by Bartolo. They're looking for Brown again, but there wasn't a whole lot of room to work with there.
Brown and Bartolo had hands all over each other as they went up for that ball. No real fouls committed, so flag stays in the pocket.
2nd down and 10. With 6:24 to go in the 3rd quarter, the Rams up by 22 points. The Falcons trying to cut back any way they can.
Fitchburg State really needs to get into the end zone here if they want to keep within shouting distance.
Acosta in motion to the left side. Antonelli looking to his left. He's going to throw to his left, and that one is incomplete. No one in the vicinity.
Samil wants a flag. It looked like he stumbled as he was breaking off his route. He feels that he was interfered with. But obviously the official disagrees.
It was almost certainly the intended receiver. And Samil feels like he didn't get to where the ball was going because of an infraction by Framingham, but it was not given, and so 3rd and 10. Falcons need to get to the 4. They're clearly in 4-down territory.
No, I don't think a field goal helps them at all here.
Antonelli scrambling. He's going to run with it himself. He's not going to get the 1st down, but he is inside the 10.
It's good work by Antonelli, especially knowing that this is 4-down territory. There's nothing developing in front of him, but he does have a hole, so he's able to pick this ball up and run with it for a 1st down.
Reads it well, scrambles a little bit.
And now if you are a Falcon fan, and we imagine most of the folks watching this are, this is an all-important 4th down for Fitchburg State as they look to stay in this game.
Antonelli making the signals clear. Play clock is running down. They will get the snap off. Antonelli will throw towards the end zone, and that ball is caught. Touchdown, it's Samil again.
An incredible catch by Devin Samil, reaching up and then lunging back behind himself in midair to catch that ball. Devin Samil with a great touchdown catch. We'll take a look at this one again.
Absolutely have to look at this one again.
Antonelli is under pressure. He gets the ball away. Samil goes up and rotates back. Great catch by him. Devin Samil with his second touchdown of the game, and Fitchburg State is somehow still in this one.
Extra kick from Jeffrey Reichert is good. 5:26 to go in the third quarter, and it's back to a 2-score game. It's Fitchburg 14, Framingham 29. 9-yard pass from Antonelli to Samil, 11 plays, 71 yards. That's obviously the best drive we've seen tonight for Fitchburg State.
Absolutely. The Falcons' first touchdown was, credit where it's due. They eventually capitalized on the ball being handed to them, but they were basically handed the ball at the Framingham 20-yard line and turned it into points. This time they marched downfield. They converted on third down. They converted on fourth down for the touchdown. A great catch by Samil to cap it off, and the Falcons are still alive, now just a 2-score game.
The Falcons only had a 25% conversion percentage on fourth down coming into today. Whether it's a small sample or what have you, I can't really explain it. The point of the matter is Fitchburg needed to come up with a score there. They've gone and done just that. It's a ball drop, picked back up by Framingham and brought out to the 28-29 yard line. Sear Thomas doing that.
Once again, you see the kicking return for Framingham State a little suspect. They can't really hang on to the ball tightly on kickoff returns. We'll take a look at this one. Thomas with just a little bobble.
Can't catch it cleanly enough. Bit of a challenge there for him.
And obviously that's not a turnover. He didn't lose possession or anything, but that slows the return. That throws your blocking out of whack. That makes it harder to break a big game. Now Framingham State is set back up deep at their own 29-yard line rather than possibly having better field position.
Zach Walker trying to bounce back from the fact that he threw an interception last time. So what does he do? He gives it to Karan Wright, who's back into the game because it's a 2-score game now, and he reasserts his position as a dominant runner.
It all sounds so simple when you're saying, yeah, it's a 2-score game. We can just get a stop, get the ball back, make it a 1-score game. And then Karan Wright shows up and breaks off a 25-yard run, and it's like, oh, right, he's better than us.
Excellent run. A 21-yard run for Karan Wright, under 5 to go in the third. Walker, give off again. Look at all that blocking for Karan Wright. 10 more yards, and then he goes out of bounds from there. They'll give him 7 yards on that one. It'll be second down. But wait, have we got a penalty? This would be the first of the half.
Scoreboard operator thinks it's a hold. I'm inclined to believe him. See? He's right.
I know we were keeping track of all the random penalties we've been seeing tonight, but I don't think we'd seen an offensive hold yet.
I think you're right. Well, now we have.
Now we have. The hold happened near the end of the run, so they mark it off from when it happened. So it's first down and 16.
Not very often you see first and 16.
Very unique setup there. Karan Wright again, and he's taken down from behind by Bednars. That is Anthony who took him down, who is 6'9", by the way. He's got 15 inches on Karan Wright.
That's a bit of a mismatch.
Indeed it is. Just able to reach over the top on him to take it down. Just look at this.
Bednars towers over the lineman who's blocking him, and then Karan Wright just disappears.
Yep, and you can see the Bednars twins, Anthony and David. Anthony 76, David 75, 6'9" and 6'8". Walker rolls right side. Plenty of time, all the time. Now he throws. That one is not caught. Almost was caught, but Nasir Thomas couldn't hold on to it.
A great hit by Malik Crawford knocked that ball out. Nasir Thomas had the ball in his hands, but then Malik Crawford ran into it.
And then he didn't have the ball in his hands anymore. Well played by Crawford. And it brings up third down.
You know how they do those crash tests when they're testing out the safety features on new vehicles? I think they should take the Ram in for another look, because that Ram ran into a brick wall and just completely fell apart.
No regrets on that, right?
Nope. Nope. I get 1 card joke per half. I've used my 2. I'm done.
All right. 3rd and 17 for the Rams. Walker with time, throws over the middle, tipped, intercepted! Picked off by the Falcons. And I think that might have been Crowford.
That is Malik Crowford with the pick and the return into Framingham State territory. Fitchburg State is not going down without a fight.
You couldn't just give the ball to Karan Wright on a 3rd and 17. Had to throw, threw over the middle, tipped and picked. And now the Falcons, they have the ball in Rams territory. Let's have a look at this again.
Walker has plenty of time to throw, but he throws into double coverage. Pass is tipped and then picked off by Crowford. Frankly, Framingham State is a little lucky that their receiver was able to run him down from behind because he had a convoy in front of him.
Now on 1st down, Antonelli going with a deep ball. And
Jesse Brown did not know that Antonelli was going for the deep ball.
And frankly, I had no idea. I was trying to look through binoculars and not on our monitors, and I don't actually know where he threw that.
Well, basically what happened is Jesse Brown ran a 12-yard hook, and Antonelli threw a 20-yard corner, and the Falcons are very lucky they still have the ball. We'll take a look at it again here.
Looking for where
so
the
Brown
ball
breaks
is.
off his route right there. He's running about a 12-yard hook. The ball is over his left shoulder. There it is.
Meanwhile, this one is caught. That's a 1st down for the Falcons. And that was Jesse Brown who...
So this time they run and throw the same route, and they're able to convert for a 1st down.
Absolutely. And you know what that play reminded me of? The ball landing so far behind.
I'm afraid.
Jason Worth a couple weeks ago.
Yes.
For the Nationals. Thought he had the ball. Ball landed 20 feet behind him. Baseball reference there, but nonetheless.
No, baseball's important. Aroldis Chapman just committed a 2-base throwing error, which is funny.
Whoa. Now Antonelli looking to throw. Bomb to the right side. It's only Lastra. And that one is intercepted. And would you believe?
It's Jaquan Harris's 4th pick of the game.
What a night he has had. Jaquan Harris, the senior from Boston. He is #1 on the roster and #1 on the defense for Framingham tonight.
I thought Jesse Lastra had broken free. He looked for all the world to be wide open, and then from out of nowhere comes Jaquan Harris to make his 4th interception of this game. I will say this, Harris made that catch in the end zone and then stepped out of bounds at his own 1-yard line. So Framingham State's offense is in a very bad place right now. It's 1st and 10 Rams at the 1.
They are in a danger spot here. If there's any time for the Falcons. Oh, that's a botched snap. What is this going to be? It's going to be a score for the Falcons, certainly. Is it 2 or is it 6?
I think it's a safety.
It's 2 for the Falcons. And it's 29-16. And would you believe it? We've had safeties on both sides in this game.
I don't know who that's a break for at this point. I think Fitchburg State feels very aggrieved not to have gotten a touchdown on that specific play. But if you had told them before the snap that they were going to get a safety, they would have taken it. Let's take a look at this one again. So you see the bad snap there. Walker can't handle it. And then the Falcon defender feels like he falls on it. I think he picks the ball up, but he himself is out of bounds when he does so, and therefore the ball is out of bounds.
That would be correct. And with the ball out of bounds in that manner, it is a safety for the Falcons. And now it is a 13-point game.
So even though the ball never left the field of play, it was picked up by a defender who was out of bounds. And if you are out of bounds and you touch the ball is out of bounds. So therefore it's a ball out of bounds through the back of the end zone, which is a safety. The Falcons are going to get the ball back, probably with pretty good field position, only down by 2 scores, with all of the momentum again.
They've been working hard here, and now it seems like Antonelli is starting to get into a rhythm, and the rest of the Falcons receiving core. But the challenge is to try to throw a ball where Jaquan Harris isn't. Now they're going to go with a kickoff, which is a valid option on the safety. It's just an unlikely option on the safety. And it'll be taken in at the 30-yard line by the Falcons. And Gene Charles is running up into Rams territory, down at the 46-yard line. Justin Gene Charles taking it to the Rams 46, and now the Falcons again. They're doing things.
So Danny, let's say hypothetically that there is a fan at home, or perhaps a fan sitting just a scant 2 feet to your right, who was under the belief that on a safety, the team that is kicking the ball away must punt the ball, always. Why was Framingham State able to kick the ball off there? Can you perhaps explain that to that ignorant fan, also me?
I do remember reading in the rule book at one point, it is something you can do, it's just not done very often for whatever reason, and frankly, I don't know why, because I would take the kickoff every time. Devin Samil makes the catch there, by the way.
You can just do that. You can just kick off.
You can. It's not done very often, but it is
Is that a college-only thing?
It could be. But nonetheless, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get my rule book up in time.
Well, Samil makes the catch here, and he does some good running after the play, picks up a couple extra yards. It's a manageable second down for Fitchburg State.
Yep. There's a long, deep ball, and that's picked off again.
And it's Jaquan Harris.
What did I say? What did I say the Falcons had to not do?
Dan, what is the record for most interceptions by a single player in a Division III college football game?
Well, I'm going to have to look that up too now, aren't I?
You're going to have to look that up first, because that's more important.
Well, anyway, here's the rule on the kick after safety. The ball belongs to the defending team at its own 20. They shall put the ball in play on or between the hash marks by a free kick that may be a punt, drop kick, or place kick.
Okay.
So that is something you can do. It's just not done very often.
So you see right there on your screen, folks, number one, he's the guy you don't want to throw the ball toward, and they threw the ball toward him again. And Jaquan Harris makes his 5th interception of this game.
That is just incredible. There's just no other way of putting it. It is incredible, is what that is. So now we're under 2 minutes to go here in the third quarter. The Rams have the ball back. And first down ended up being a short run. Second down now for Framingham. 100 seconds to go in the third quarter. We have seen a lot of turnovers tonight. It's not been a well-played game in that regard. And these are two teams very good at forcing turnovers. That is caught on the right side. For a first down for Framingham State, it is Colicchio who makes that catch.
Dan, I have consulted with the most accurate source of knowledge in all of human history, that is to say Wikipedia.
Yes.
The Division III college football record for most interceptions in a game is 5.
And I can see over your shoulder, this is the 12th time that this has happened, the first time in 15 years. So we are seeing college football history here tonight at Elliott Field. 5 interceptions by one player in a game, and based on what I see there,
the last time it happened was a man by the name of James Patrick playing for Stillman against Edward Waters in November of 2002.
And Edward Waters does not sound like a Division III team. But nonetheless, it still counts. It's second down, and Wright with a great run here. He's down just past the 40-yard line.
Brings up 3rd down and 4 for the Rams. And for Framingham State, you know, you're up by 2 scores. Things have kind of fallen apart a little bit, but if you can keep the ball here, you can at least put pressure on the Falcons.
Yep. And there's Melcher Lynch there, reaching in there with the trap Vargalia. Down with the touch he goes, and he holds, and he prevents Coron Wright from getting a first down. And that is the end of the third quarter.
So while we have a second here, I do want to make a note. The overall NCAA record officially is also 5. No one in the history of college football officially has intercepted more than 5 passes in a game. There was one guy. There's always one guy. There was one guy in 1937, Dick Miller of Akron, intercepted 6 passes, but that was before there was official record keeping of interceptions and that sort of thing. So they're basically, as far as the official record books are concerned, Jaquan Harris has history tonight with 5 interceptions, and there is still a quarter of football to play in which the Falcons are going to be throwing the ball.
I will say this, it is not something I want to root for, but it is
That makes one of you. I mean, that sounds pretty cool, Dan.
It does sound pretty cool. But it is one of
there
those.
There must be a way for the Falcons to throw an interception and win this game. Can we root for that?
I could try for that.
Okay. We're slightly biased, folks. I don't know if you know that. I mean, you're in Fitchburg watching us, and we're from Fitchburg.
Remember,
on Fitchburg Access Television.
And remember, this is the only D3 football game tonight. We may have quite an audience.
So on first down for Framingham State, as we get to live action here in the fourth quarter of play, Will Cowdery takes the carry.
And he gets 3 yards, which was just enough for a first, it looks like, or close enough to one.
Very close. The down marker on the far side of the field says 4, but they are going to move the chains. So it'll be first down for the Rams as they look to burn some clock and maybe put this game away.
Rams leading runner today, Karan Wright, 17 for 110, 6.5 per run. That's right where we expect him to be.
First and 10, Framingham State at their own 44. Cowdery, the ball carrier again. Rumbles along the right side, picks up a gain of about 4. He's brought down by a flock of Falcons.
Cowdery now 6 for 23 on the day in the running game. The Rams, a run-heavy team for the most part.
Take a look at this one again. You see Cowdery on the off-tackle run to the right. Just basically plunges into the line and then runs as far as he can go before he falls over. Nothing fancy there, but it's effective. Call it second down and a short 7 for the Rams. Play clock is running out here. The Framingham State is not even at the line of scrimmage. Play clock at 4, 3, and they will get this snap off. Cowdery straight up the middle. And he's got himself a respectable little gain there. Call it third down and 2 now for Framingham State.
Just bursting through the scrum, getting into Fitchburg territory just. He'll bring up another third down.
Will Cowdery, the junior out of Marlborough, Massachusetts, doing yeoman's work here for the Rams. Call it third down and 2.
Yep, and Marlborough is a community that you are familiar with.
A little bit. Yeah, I spent 16, 17 years of my life there.
4 for 10. Framingham is on third down tonight.
Third down and 2 here for Framingham State. Handoff up the middle. That's Will Cowdery. He plunges forward. He's got himself a first down into Falcon territory. Mark him down at the 46-yard line. And we will move the chains once again for Framingham State.
For the second time, for the second consecutive drive, they get just to the 10 yards, basically, and not much more than that.
So now, Dan, if you're the Falcons, you've got to get a stop here pretty darn quick. 12 minutes left in this one, only a 2-score game. It's not yet panic time, but clock is ticking.
Zach Walker doesn't have a reason to throw the ball. Just got to keep running some clock down. That's really all he needs to do.
Cowdery, the ball carrier on first down. He breaks through the line, plunges forward. He's got a gain of about 8. Partisan Framingham crowd here on the near sideline appreciates that.
5'7", 190 is Cowdery. He's got some explosive strength as he pushes forward. Able to, even after getting wrapped up there, still able to get a couple extra yards on that. Able to pull Melcher Lynch there.
Second down and 2 coming up for Framingham State, and you can see they are taking their time. They are very aware of the play clock. They're not in any hurry. They are more than happy to just hand this ball off and eat up as much clock as they can. Already 3 minutes gone here in the fourth quarter. It's Cowdery again, straight up the middle. And he only gets a couple of yards, but he only needed a couple of yards. Then a rather dramatic play acting there. A bit of a shove and a lot of a fall.
The referee's not going to call anything additional for that. It is not good enough for a first down, they have ruled.
Cowdrey brought down just shy of the line to gain.
11:20 to go in the fourth.
Third down and about half an inch. And it'll be Cowdrey straight up the middle. No, quarterback keeps it himself, loses the football. The ball is on the ground. Whoever falls on it has got a first down. The Falcons have the football. And then flags come in after the play.
It looked like the Falcons got under that after Walker fumbled the football. I don't know what the flags are for, though. But of course, there is a lot of it about there. And that would be the 9th turnover of this game, by the way.
I know Fitchburg State came out of the pile with the ball.
And I know the flags came after all of that.
We actually saw a couple of different officials just reach up and chuck their flags up in the air as far as they could go. Now Patrick Haverty's getting the call. I think you just saw him go, what? Now we'll see if we can get this call.
Whatever that referee said changed the complexion of what they were going to call.
Patrick Haverty seems satisfied. He's probably going to go over and talk with Tom Kelly.
That would be the thing to do. Tom Kelly, longtime coach for the Rams, 14th season, and the longtime athletic director at Framingham State. Been there for 23 years in that position.
That is the third ejection we've had in this game. Derek Ayarza has been ejected for a dead ball personal foul. The Falcons are going to take over at midfield.
Yet another sight that I guess you could say we haven't seen before. 3 ejections in a game.
Take a look at this one again. So right there, the ball is knocked out of Walker's hands. The Falcons are going to come out of it. And Ayarza is number 76. And we're not going to see it on that replay. We're going to get you back to live action. First down handoff goes straight up the middle. Javon Brown-Simpson is driven back after a gain of a couple of yards. And there you see Ayarza, the third man who has been sent out of this football game.
This has been an incredible game for many different reasons, I will say. I guess that's the stuff that happens Friday night under the lights here at Elliott Field.
Second down and 8 for Fitchburg State as they look to continue the comeback. Antonelli looks to his left, passes swatted down and incomplete. Believe that was Joshua Smiley who got a hand on it, the sophomore out of Chicopee.
Just didn't get enough time in the pocket to throw that. Antonelli took his time, got ready to release. He was looking for Lastra on the left side, and 2 Rams able to get their hands up there.
So we're going to take a look at this one again. I believe we have footage of the hit by Ayarza that leads to his ejection. You see him standing up there, big number 76. And we're going to go back to live action instead. Antonelli back to pass, throws to his right. Pass is caught. A great catch by Devin Samil.
It's not worthy of, I was going to say, it's not worthy of a first down, but still an excellent catch.
He's short of the first down. I suspect the Falcons are going to go for it. I certainly think they should.
I agree with you as well.
Let's take a look at this one. Antonelli with plenty of time to throw, and then an incredible full extension grab by Samil. And there is a penalty flag down. That's in the backfield. Looks like it might be a hold against the Falcons.
Personal foul. On the offense, number 60, hands to the face. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Hands to the face against Fitchburg. Will mark off 15 yards. That might also toss that play into the memory hole, too.
I believe it will. So we'll go 15 yards from the initial line of scrimmage. It'll bring up 3rd and 23, if my math is right.
It won't change the fact that the Falcons will have to get to the Rams 40 for a first.
3rd and 23.
So 3rd down and 23 for the Falcons. They've got trips receivers to the near side. Antonelli back to pass. Throws over the middle, passes high and incomplete. Jaquan Harris was perilously close to history there, but the ball fell at his feet, and Fitchburg State will kick it away. There you see him, Jaquan Harris, 5 interceptions for him tonight, tying with several dozen men over different levels of college football, a long-standing record.
It's absolutely one of the things you never think you're going to see in a football game.
5 interceptions for a team is remarkable. For one man, it's nearly unheard of. Punt is away. It is a high duck of a kick. Bounces and takes a good Falcon roll. It's going to be down inside the 25 at about the 24-yard line.
The bounce is highly favorable for Barrentos. In the end, the Falcons get a fairly decent punt out of that.
Framingham State will take over 1st and 10 at their own 24-yard line. 9:40 left to play in this one.
The major thing for the Rams is obviously run the ball, run the ball, run the ball some more, and then hopefully you'll have a first down. You won't have to punt it.
Pretty much.
After being a 13-point game, Karan Wright's in there, and he's going to move to the left side. Seemed like he wanted to be on the right side.
Wright has been the main focus of the offense for Framingham State, and he gets the carry here on 1st down. Running to his right, sees a little hole, and he slides through it. Picks himself up about 7-8 yards.
Was pushed out of bounds, though. There's the one positive for the Falcons. As Wright he found what he wanted on that right side.
Take a look at this one again.
2nd and 4.
It's a 6-yard gain for Wright after all of that. Again, right in line with how he normally rolls.
2nd down and 4 coming up for Framingham State, and once again, they are taking their time. They are well aware of the play clock, and they will use that 40 seconds to its fullest extent. On 2nd down, Karan Wright has a huge hole. He's into the secondary before he's even touched. Finally brought down at the 46-yard line after a gain of about 14 yards, and another Framingham 1st down.
A lot of pushing and shoving after all of that. As Morikata was in there trying to wrestle the ball away.
Rams 1st and 10 from their own 46.
See there, Wright has a huge hole, and he's deep into the secondary before he's even touched. Now 8:15 left to play in this one. Excuse me, 8:45. Framingham State just sitting at the line, letting time go by. It's very good strategy by the Rams as they try to hold this lead. Karan Wright, the ball carrier, he's got himself a big hole. He dives forward, and he's got 7-8 yards once again.
More credit to the Rams O-line. They're able to create holes, and that creates big gains for Karan Wright, who will take a breather now because you can't use him every single play. I know that was one of the big things a couple weeks ago when we saw Bridgewater. They couldn't use Alex McLaughlin every single play. They couldn't use Malik Garrett every single play because they get tired. And when you're using lesser skilled players, it becomes more of a challenge to run that clock.
Cursed fragile human anatomy. 2nd down and 2 for the Rams. Handoff goes straight up the middle. That's Will Cowdery, the ball carrier. And he's got just enough for a 1st down. Stop the clock, move the chains. 7:40 to play. Framingham State is on the march.
Cowdery getting what he needed there and not a whole lot more required. Cowdery's 11th carry of the night. As this game has gone on, he's become the go-to person for when Wright needs a breather. Wright is now at 20 for 140.
Each one of these first downs just burns more and more time off the clock. 7:15 left to play now. Framingham State still with the ball, leading by 13. Handoff goes to Cowdery, running to the right, breaks one tackle, doesn't break another. He's down at the 39 after a gain of about 4.
You can see the Framingham O-line creating more of those holes, but Cowdery doesn't quite have that explosive first step that Karan Wright does, so he's not able to take as quick advantage of it as Wright can, so he gets a little less in terms of yardage, but still, he's able to find something and make something out of it. He gets 4 yards, and as we already mentioned, you average 4 a run, that's all you need.
Really all there is to it. If you can keep getting those 4 or 5 yard runs, you're going to keep getting first downs, you're going to keep burning clock. Time is ticking away faster and faster, it seems, for Fitchburg State. Second down, handoff goes to Karan Wright. He plunges forward, and he is brought down after a gain of only 3. It will be third down.
That time the hole not quite created there for the Rams. As Rodney Thomas, a bit slow to get up. Wright got his run in, but now he needs another breather.
Now it will be third down and 2 for Framingham State. And if you're Fitchburg, you look at that clock, you know what the Rams are going to do if they get this first down. You've got to get a stop here somehow, some way. And of course, if you're Tom Kelly, this would be a heck of a time to call play action. Will Cowdery will be the ball carrier. Handoff straight up the middle. He's got a first down and plenty more. Cowdery into the open field across the 20. Call him down at the 18-yard line. A big gainer for the Rams. First down, Framingham State.
Cowdery found a hole. It held open for long enough. And there was nothing but moonlight on the other side of it for the most part. As Dylan Woods nearly pulls down Cowdery's pants.
I thought you were making that joke. That was a very subtle joke. At first I thought it was just a nothing but daylight punt, but then I realized the joke. That was a wonderful joke that I'm ruining by saying how wonderful it was. That was a wonderful joke, Danny. You should be proud. First down and 10 for the Rams at the Falcon 20-yard line. Karan Wright, the ball carrier. He gets 1 and then is driven back and shoved down. And fortunately for the Falcons, there are no flags. Dylan Woods led the hit for the Falcon defense.
I'm glad that the teams have been more disciplined in this quarter, in this half.
Take a look at this one again. You see Woods finally getting into the backfield and stopping right after a gain of just a yard. It'll be second down and 9 for Framingham State. 4.5 minutes to play here in this game. Wright, the ball carrier, breaks out of a tackle. He's brought down in the backfield after a loss of a couple. I think that might be the first time we've said that all night. Karan Wright stopped for a loss.
It's definitely a rare sentence. He didn't have a run for a loss in the first half, I can tell you that much.
So it'll be third down and 11 for Framingham State now. For Fitchburg State, this is a pivotal stop. When this drive started, there was more than 10 minutes left to play. Framingham State has just slowly, methodically marched the ball downfield, killed plenty of time in so doing. And if they get the first down here, you can pretty much salt this game away.
Well, there are still timeouts left in the tank. And there's that play action. And Nasir Thomas blows a tire.
Nasir Thomas caught that pass, and he had nothing but green grass in front of him, well, field turf in front of him, and he tripped over his own feet and fell down well short of the line to gain. And for the first time tonight, Framingham State is going to send out the field goal unit. We'll take a look at this one again. Very well executed play fake. Thomas is wide open. He's got all the time in the world, and he just falls down. Couldn't keep his feet under him. And now this becomes a very important field goal. If Framingham State makes this, Fitchburg needs 2 touchdowns and conversions. Snap down, kick is up, and it is good. That's a great shot of a really good kick. So now with 2:59 to play, Framingham State 32, Fitchburg 16. a really good, really important kick there for Ryan Clifford.
His 4th field goal on 5 attempts this season. His long was 41, so he didn't break that because I believe that was just 36. But nonetheless, a great drive for Framingham State, and they run nearly 7 minutes off the clock. Drive started at 9:40, the clock at 2:59 now. 11 plays, 58 yards.
So Fitchburg State now, take a look at this after the catch. Clifford knows he did a good thing. He gives it a little shimmy. Why not? Yeah, big man's got a little bit of moves. That's all right. Falcons getting ready for an important kickoff return. High end over end kick. Gene Charles will take it at the 1-yard line. Up along the near sideline, cuts through the initial line, and he is driven out of bounds. And a little bit of shoving going on after the play.
As we know, emotions have been running high all night.
And there is a flag down.
And that is a consequence of the emotions running high all night.
It's a hold indicated against the Falcons. That'll back them up even further. Not the thing you wanted to see.
After what was nearly a 30-yard return, then turns into much less.
Significantly less than that. Let's get the call. So Fitchburg State facing a 16-point deficit, 2:52 to play. It's amazing what one dominant, grinding drive by an offense can do, Dan. 7 minutes of game time ago, Fitchburg State seemingly had all the momentum, and now it's desperate. And all Framingham State got was a field goal, but they ran so much clock off.
The Falcons still have all of their timeouts, though.
Antonelli back to pass on first down. He throws, that pass is swatted down and incomplete. Just rejected at the defensive line.
Nathan Fleming is the party responsible for this. And he just, I guess he went for the rejection.
There you see Nathan Fleming, one of the defensive standouts for Framingham State.
Didn't have any pass breakups coming into tonight, though.
Pass to the right side is complete. Jesse Lastra the catch. Lastra with a good catch and run picks up a first down for the Falcons. They will hurry up to the line. 2:41 to play. Fitchburg State needs 2 scores. 1st and 10 at their own 28. Antonelli calling signals, takes the snap. Back to pass, rolls to his left, throws for Brown Simpson. Pass is caught, and Brown Simpson gets out of bounds, but they will keep the clock moving. 2:20 now, 2:19 to go. Not much of a gain there for Fitchburg State.
Gained basically nothing. At that point, it's almost as if it was better to drop it. But you couldn't have known. 2nd
down and 10, Fitchburg State. 2 minutes left to play. Antonelli throws over the middle, passes high and incomplete. Looked like it was intended for Demetrio Leonardo.
That was Acosta.
That was Acosta, my apologies.
And now you see the 3 sometimes look like 9s.
They do.
And that ball was just overthrown is what that was. Not a whole lot more to add than that. But now, with the clock stopped, they don't have to hurry up as much. Take a moment to take a breather. 3rd down and 10.
Antonelli back to pass, looks to the left, throws over the middle. That pass is low and it is incomplete. Just barely out of the diving reach of Jaquay Solomon. And now Fitchburg State faces an all-important 4th down. If the Falcons are to have any chance of making a comeback, they need to convert here. Fourth down and 10. The Falcons are at their own 28. They need the 38. 32-16 Framingham, minute 53 to play. Antonelli back to pass, under pressure, throws to the right, passes high, incomplete. Intended for Samil, he had no chance at it. Falcons turn the ball over on downs, and Framingham State can just end this game right here.
Well, the Falcons still have all 3 of their timeouts, though. But nonetheless, it would be very, 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 very difficult for the Falcons to come away with a victory here.
That is true. And, far be it for me to suggest what anyone should watch after this game is over. I will just point out that New York and Cleveland are in the 12th inning, and the game is tied at 8. Not that I've been, watching my phone for the entire second half or anything. So Framingham State set up 1st and 10 at the Falcon 28-yard line, looking to salt this game away. Handoff goes straight up the middle in a big hole. First down acquired there. That's Stephen Bean with the ball carry.
They'll rule it will be 2nd down. I don't think that benefits Fitchburg, to be honest.
I don't think it matters, to be honest.
Yep.
And now they will stop the clock with a minute 25 to play. Believe that is an official's timeout?
They're looking at the chains.
And they will say 1st down.
If they were considering moving the chains on that one, but I guess it was close enough to the point where it didn't really matter.
So honestly, that doesn't really benefit Fitchburg State any. They already ran the clock down plenty. Falcons not even electing to burn their timeouts. They're content to just see this one through. And Bean gets the carry. Stephen Bean breaks through a couple tackles.
Now they'll burn a timeout.
The Falcons will take their timeout with 52 seconds left. Okay. Greg Bird just struck out. Josh Tomlin's pitching now. These are all newsworthy events, and we're journalists, is what we're doing.
Sure, why not? Anyway, let's have a look at what's going on for these teams next week.
Yes, let's.
So, Fitchburg will be traveling to Westfield State, 2 o'clock start from Alumni Field in Westfield. The Owls are 0-5 coming into this week, and they are currently holding the wooden spoon in the conference. The Rams get to go to Plymouth State, and they're 4-1. They're one of the other teams that have come out strong this year. That'll be a 1 o'clock start next week. And looking at the rest of the MASCAC this week, UMass Dartmouth is at Curry. That's the last non-conference game for any team in the conference this season. 1 o'clock start. Bridgewater's at Plymouth. Mass Maritime's at Westfield. And Worcester State is at Western Connecticut.
And we do want to mention our next Falcon telecast will be quite a ways away from now. The Falcons have a couple road games and their off week coming up. November the 4th, they will play host to Plymouth State right here at Elliott Field. Our next football telecast at FATV, though, will be next week, Friday Night Football from Crocker Field. Will be Red Raiders in action next Friday, Friday the 13th football, right here on FATV. 2nd down and 2 now for Framingham State. Stephen Bean, the ball carrier, and he is brought down in the backfield, and I do believe, yes, indeed, the Falcons will take timeout with 48 seconds and mathematically, technically a chance of winning this game.
And while we're talking about what else is going on, since this was the only D3 football game tonight, I feel it was fair to talk about some of the other big D3 games tomorrow.
That sounds like a plan.
So the big game tomorrow is the #1 team in the nation, Mary Hardin Baylor. The national champions from last year will be taking on Hardin Simmons. That'll be a 2 o'clock start down in Texas. Mount Union, the longtime power out of Ohio, will be taking on Heidelberg. That's #2 versus #21. That's a 1:30 start. Also of note is #19 Wesley traveling to Frostburg, Maryland to take on Frostburg State. That's a 1 o'clock start. Frostburg State, the Bobcats, #11 in the nation. And if you look really, really quickly, it looks like Fitchburg, which disappoints me every time that happens to me.
Well, yes. Someday, Dan, someday, the Falcons will be #11 in the nation in Division III. Someday. That day is not today.
Not at all.
Framingham State set up 3rd down and 4 at the Falcon 12.
Go 2-6.
Bean remains the man in the backfield behind Walker, and he gets the carry. Dives to the left. Bean is going to be brought down at about the 10-yard line. Fitchburg State will take their last timeout.
And now the question is, if you're Framingham, you want to kick the field goal here? Or do you just want to try to go for the win?
I suppose you go for the first down, because if you get the first down, you can just kneel and end this game, and that would be quicker. That sounds right. I suppose making it a 3-score game makes some sense. On the other hand, there's 40 seconds left, and Fitchburg State has no timeouts. So I would encourage going for it, because I think going for it results in the game being over sooner.
That would probably be the case there.
Dan, we would be remiss, however, if we did not once again mention the historic performance tonight by Jaquan Harris. 5 interceptions.
5 times is just incredible thinking about that. He was just in the right place, the right time, every time.
That is the official all-time college football record that we have seen tied tonight. 1 man, 5 picks. 4th down and 3 for Framingham State. They bring back Karan Wright trying to get the first down. He does not. So the Falcons they tried to set this up. They got themselves the ball back. 35 seconds, you're down by 16 points, and you need 90 yards. I suppose, technically, you're saying there's a chance?
There is something like that. There's definitely a chance.
You need a touchdown, a 2-point conversion, a successful onside kick, a touchdown, and a 2-point conversion to force overtime.
Need all of that.
Yeah, that's doable.
Maybe the Falcons can get at least 1 score.
What the heck, let's get 2. I got nowhere to be tomorrow. That's not entirely true, but you know, it's the kind of thing you say when you're encouraging weird things to happen.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Hey, let's go, G. White. Let's go, G. White.
So Fitchburg State desperately trying to cling to hope in this one. Antonelli back to pass on first down. He throws over the middle. That pass is tipped and incomplete. In and out of the hands of Devin Samil. And you realize, Dan, if they keep throwing the ball, Jaquay Harris is out there somewhere, lurking.
I've been looking over the field, and I actually can't see him on the field right now.
Is he really not? He really is not.
That's a shame.
That is a shame.
Let's go, CP.
Jaquay Harris is taking a knee on the sideline. His work is done for the evening. Antonelli back to pass on second down. That pass is over the middle and caught. Stop the clock, move the chains. Jesse Lastra with the catch. 23 seconds for the Falcons.
Lastra's second catch of the night.
Antonelli will throw again on first down here. Over the middle, this pass is incomplete. And now you are reaching mathematical certainty. It is 12 seconds left, 2 touchdowns. Not going to happen. Michael Brantley just took a strike.
Yep. And how about just looking for this last 12 seconds? The way I see it, the Falcons are practicing the 2-minute drill against probably the best team to practice a 2-minute drill against.
Okay.
It doesn't get any harder than this, basically.
That is true.
And so we're getting to watch practice here.
Second down and 10 for the Falcons. 12 seconds left. If there is a right and merciful God, this will be the last play of the game. Antonelli throws over the middle. Pass is tipped and incomplete. And of course, there is no God. 6 seconds left to play in this one, and there will be one final play. Falcons next week are at Westfield State, as we mentioned. That's a 2 o'clock kickoff. That's another Saturday game. And then they have their bye week before they take on WestCon. And they return home for November the 4th.
I would like to point out, I hope that Fitchburg figures out how to play WestCon at WestCon, because the last 2 times they went down there, they gave up 56 and 70.
That's not good. Final play of this game is a pass deep over the middle, falls incomplete. And the last seconds tick away on what was a disappointing effort for the Falcons tonight. They came back in the second half, but really that big fourth quarter drive by Framingham State salted it away. Final score 32-16.
As one positive, the Falcons did outscore the Rams in the second half 9-3, but that's not really one of the, there are many disclaimers and caveats to that. Fitchburg did seem to get a little more traction in the second half, but the main thing though is Framingham just created too much of a hole.
And really, as the Falcons tried to come back, you see him right there, number 1, Jaquan Harris. We cannot harp on this enough. 5 interceptions for Jaquan Harris, a historic effort tying the all-time college football record across all levels, not just D3, across all levels. 5 picks tonight for Jaquan Harris. I believe we have Amanda Agassi and Mamu Sam down on the field. I believe, let's take it down to them one more time. Amanda, Mamu, what do you have to say?
All right, and that is a ball game. 32-16, Fitchburg lost, 16 points. You know, we were talking about it throughout the game. Fitchburg, I don't know what they were said in the locker room at halftime, but it worked. They came out with a ton of momentum, you know, but then it's just been a back and forth game, pick after pick, fumble recovery, a lot.
Well, I'll tell you one. I've seen a lot of games that just came down to the wire, but it seemed like during the third quarter, it seemed like Fitchburg was taking that momentum and bringing it to their side. The offense was looking good, and then it just started to steep down as the turnovers started to change, as you said. And going into the fourth quarter, they were down by about, what was it? You say 21 points. So it just didn't seem like it was going Fitchburg's way. Fitchburg had a lot to catch up with, and it just ended up being too short, and that safety wasn't enough. They needed a touchdown to add with it. So it's just, you know, they just fell short this game. And
it definitely was a game, and we also were talking about how Daquan Harris from Framingham had 4 picks.
4 interceptions, man.
That is a game.
That's remarkable.
Yes, definitely. So I know that definitely hurt Fitchburg, but you know, they won't be back at Elliott Field until we have Framingham next year, but we have a game coming up with them in a couple weeks home against Plymouth State. I would like to thank Mamu Sam. Thank you so much for being my guest this show.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. And back to you guys.
Amanda, Mamu, thank you so much. Thank you for joining us throughout this game. Dan, once again, 5 picks for Jaquan Harris. Just a historic effort for him. But obviously, there's more than that to talk about. Framingham State, a complete offensive performance. Just both sides of the ball, they were clearly the superior team tonight.
Absolutely. Coron Wright, 24 for 145 and 2 touchdowns. Zach Walker through the air, 7 for 15 for 142. James Antonelli for the Falcons, stepping up after Nelson Valerio's injury, 15 for 36, 144, 2 touchdowns, and 4 completions to Jaquan Harris. Unfortunately, those don't really count as completions. No. Devin Samil was the lead receiver for the Falcons, 6 for 58 and 2 touchdowns. Had some brilliant grabs tonight. After being held surprisingly off the board last week against Mass Maritime, to come back strong there. Great to see out of Samil. The Falcons, one of their big struggles on third down, 1 for 14. Can't be having that.
You can't win doing that. You cannot win if you're going to be 1 of 14 on third down. One more time before we get out of here, we do want to mention the next Falcon broadcast here on FATV will be November the 4th, a noontime kickoff against Plymouth State. But next Friday, Friday the 13th, from Crocker Field, the Red Raiders of Fitchburg High take on Westboro High School. That is a 7 o'clock kickoff. Dave Clark and Mike Flynn will have the call. Dan, you mentioned before Framingham State is the final boss of the MASCAC. For the Falcons and for us here at FATV, it is game over. For Dan Bolak, I'm John Gugerty. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time right here on FATV.